Hi, I'm Artie. No, Artie is having some interference, so he asked me to come on until he can get himself going. So, how's everybody doing on this fine Saturday night, Sunday morning, if you're over on that side of the world? Are we coming through loud and clear, or at least am I? Hello. Okay, good. Those responses were taking too long to come in. I have no idea what Artie has planned for today. Hey, Martin, how are you? Anyhow, hello, Daryl. Hello, Gary. I saw Jason earlier. Thomas at Split Rock, how are you? Yes, I do look very different. I had some surgery trying to improve my looks. It's going pretty well. Also been taking voice acting lessons to get rid of this that outrageous Southeastern Australian accent that is just so annoying to most of the remaining world. So yeah, I've been going through a lot of changes this week. But I wasn't expecting to start the show off, so I don't have anything necessarily prepped going here. We did hey Steve 87 anyhow, how are you? I've been messing about with my new little acquisition here. I was just filming a video, sort of my show and tell videos I do for my show, The American Outsider. This is a little rail car that came in the mail on Thursday. And it's by a German company called Roco, R-O-C-O, Roco. And they're probably my second favorite company after American. Yeah, it sounds like Artie's coming on. There he is. Hey, Artie, how are you?
Howdy, folks. Sorry about the delay with me being on stream this morning. There's something going on in the area. We've got the boys in blue flying around, and it's interfering with my Wi-Fi in here. I was in my back train room, so had to relocate at the front. Plus, it's pretty noisy. No, they're not after me. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna bust your bubble. They're not after me this time. So anyway, thanks for starting the show for me, Anthony. You're a real gentleman. Your wife doesn't pay you enough, and neither does anybody else.
I get paid what I'm worth, which isn't much, so you know.
Yeah, I get the same problem. So anyway, I suppose you said hi to everyone, but I'm going to say hi anyway because I didn't do it. So g'day, John. I'm going to work from the bottom on the way up on my screen. So I've got John, Maniki, how you going? Steve, 87, how you doing? Gary, how are you? Hope things are warming up for you up there. It is warming up. It's a beautiful day down here. Nathan, nice to see you in here, buddy. Derail Daryl, nice to see you here too, mate. Who else do we have? Who else? Oh, Thomas, how are you? Nice to see you here. Split Rock. Who else do we have? I think Martine, how are you? Nice to see you. Oh, hello, Anthony. Hello to you too, since you're on the list. I'm just going through the list here. And I think AJ, how are you, my dear friend? And the cookie prize for this week goes to Jason. That's if he's still here. I'll stop updating now. I don't want you to update now. It's I hate it when you get
My phone's
these.
going to be pinging for a while, apparently.
Beg your pardon?
My phone keeps pinging. Hey, John at Schuylkill River Valley, how are you? And
Hey,
hi
John.
to everyone.
To you. So, again, I apologise to everybody. G'day, Low Country. How you doing? Again, I apologise to everybody, including you, Anthony. I haven't really been watching too many streams this week. There's a lot of personal things that's been going on. A lot of it's medical and other stuff that I've been dealing with. I had to do a trip to Sydney and whatnot. So it's taken my time away from YouTube. Real life situations take first preference, first priorities. I did get some nice. G'day, JD. How are you? Something that actually takes priority over others. I have got some footage again on my phone, which I'm going to put into my Fun Day Fridays. Hey, Thomas, how are you? I'm going to be taking footages. I'm running out of content for my Fun Day Fridays.
George.
So what I'm going to do is all the new content that I'm going to be videotaping from now on, I'm going to be adding that onto my Fun Day Fridays because since I haven't been able to travel overseas, I haven't been able to get to the US, and we had no train shows here, I've pretty much run out of content that I've got on file. Again, this guy messed me up this week, big time.
How'd I mess you up?
I went to go and watch his live stream, and I got this little pulley wheel for my crane, and it fell to the carpet, never to be found again. Not even the magnet goes fishing for it. But what made matters worse, they got this little tiny pin that's about yay big that actually locks it into place. That's gone flying on the carpet too.
Hang on here. Let me look over this.
Yeah, no,
that doesn't say Heath on there. We don't do the blame Anthony bullshit. My name's not Heath. You don't blame me for that.
You were showing your piece of track at the time. Had to blame someone. You were on my computer screen at the time. So
that was my computer screen. That's not my fault.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has had those problems, but when you're looking for something real small, your eyes just start going wonkers, and it's like, no, I've got to put it aside.
Well, if it was sharp or painful to step on, then I could bring my dad, because my dad always found anything that was small on the carpet, as long as it could be sharp and painful and hurt when you stepped on it. My dad was great at that. Earrings that had been missing for 3 weeks, 3 years, whatever. Oh, he found it.
I'm not sure. I think it was on Daryl's show, Cab Crew weekend show on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever you want to call it. I think it was that one, or I can't remember. It was somebody's show at the time. I started doing the rigging for the crane. Yeah, it was on Daryl's live stream. I started doing the rigging for the crane, so I'm trying to finish it off. But because I can't find... Hello, Rick. How are you, buddy? Because I haven't found this, I haven't been able to finish the rigging. But I do have a backup plan, so I will work on it a bit later on today. The cab is finished. I did do a quick reveal on Daryl's show what it's going to look like. Look, yes, that is right, Steve, but that pin looks a little bit rusty, and it's about the same color as the carpet at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit apart, but it's all right. I'll make up another pin for it. So that's not going to be a big problem. I was hoping to get it finished by now so I can actually do a reveal, but it'll come sometime this week. It's just been crazy, and I've still got another crazy week to go. I had to go up to Sydney and get some scans done on my thumb because the CT score, the scans that I have, isn't the ones that they want to do my injection, so that's been held up. And it is giving me a lot of curry at the moment, or should I say it'll give me a lot of problems. So the modeling's slowing down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's the rabbit. No, Gary, the rabbit is not allowed in. This rabbit is not allowed in that room. This rabbit's got a habit of playing with wires, and she loves to climb up things and pull things down. So at this point in time, she's not permitted in the back room. I will find it. I just got to find my magnet. My desk is a mess in that room, so that's one thing I've got to do in between everything at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to have to get the dust buster, Martin. I'm going to have to do that. And I'm not worried about the pin. I want the pulley because it's a metal one. I do have plastic ones from the Kid Brick kit. Yeah, I've got one a little bit bigger than that. Yeah. But there is an upside. I mean, looking for the pulley. I found the resistors that I lost last year on the carpet.
Well, you just have to lose something so you can find the next thing in line.
Yeah. And those stanchions, those overhead or the containery, they got a little nuts on the end of it, and I lost some of them. And guess what? I found them. It's amazing what you find, what you're not looking for. So yeah, I'm going to put a quick little invite.
Hello, Jeff. How are you? And anybody else that's come in that we've missed? But I think we've caught everybody.
Yeah, g'day,
oh,
Jeff.
JD Grandpa Rails. I don't know if you said hello to him.
Yeah, I did. Daryl, you've seen the colours of it, and as you said, it wasn't in the UP colours, so it would not run on your layout. Sorry, it's a UP and cheesy things. Oops. Yeah, it's east against the west. You know that, Anthony. How did I grow my beard so quickly? Well, I'll tell you how I did it. It's called Vegemite. You rub it all over your fur on your face like this, right? And it helps it grow. And while you're at it, you got the Vegemite stuck on your beard and you just lick it all up.
Well, wait a minute. Lean over here. We'll get that Vegemite off for you.
You're going to clog that up. Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed that Fun Day video. I came across those shots. I'm sorry I don't have all the shots of Tweetsy. It's a lovely place. If anyone's down in North Carolina, Tweetsy Railroad is a great place to visit. Yeah, I did miss a bit of it on the top there, Jeff.
Well, he puts Vegemite up there too, but the birds eat it off.
Yeah, that's the problem. Tweetsy Railroad is a really nice place to visit. It caters for everybody. It's almost like you can pretty much say it's a train set. It goes around a hill. It has got a slight grade going up the top. And the history of it, part of that line that's there, the existing line, is actually part of an old mining line there used to be a gold mine within that area. G'day, Possum Bayou. How you doing? And it's good. You got the entrance down the front, and you get the train. You have little side shows as you go up the mountain.
Mhm.
And when you get up to the top, they have another little township up the top, and they got a little township, and just down from the township, you have amusement rides for the kids. You got picnic areas, barbecue areas up the top, and you can walk your way down or jump on the train and follow your way down. What's she asking? Have I been to the United States?
Yeah, he's asking, you're talking about where you were there in North Carolina, I think,
Yeah.
and he's asking, have you ever been to the United States? And the answer is yeah, several times.
Yeah, I've been there many times, Nathan. I've been there many times, but at the moment, I am actually having problems in contacting the appropriate departments. G'day, Randall. The appropriate government departments to fix up the mess that I had with their computer system earlier in the year. And you cannot talk to anybody on the phone. They all want you to contact them by email, and they'll contact you, which is a waste of time. Even with United States Postal Service, I try to contact someone there by the phone, but you can't get the phone number unless you go through all this, sorry to say it, all this bullshit online. You cannot contact anybody. And when you do try to go and talk to them in person, they won't let you through the door.
Yeah, that's it's the new, for better, for good or for bad, it's the new corporate model. The funniest thing here is our cable company, every now and then our cable will go out and we'll have to call them. And they'll say, for faster service, go online. Can't. The internet and the cable's out.
I had the same problem here. We had the same problem here. My internet dropped out earlier in the week, and oh, you fucking better not be doing fucking that. Get away from that cable.
Uh-oh.
You touch that cable, and I'm going to chop your bloody legs off. Sorry, guys. Just give me a sec.
Hey, Randall, how you doing? Your club display. Yeah, I saw you went live just as I was talking to Artie about coming on here. I've been filming a demo video of the little guy you see behind me. I like Rocco, but this guy's not impressing me. He's fine if he goes in. He's fine if he's going on level service, but yeah, he doesn't like going around the big loops here with the inclines. Hey, hi, Kiwi Dave. How are you? Nice to have you here. Now, he's got some crazy stuff going on outside his house, basically, but either that or his rabbit's gone crazy. But no, it's interesting because as a kid, it was a tradition back in the 60s and 70s when I was a kid. Your family packed up the station wagon and we drove out. If you lived in the east, you drove out west. So I've been in like 44 of the 50 states. But yeah, I mean, I hear that all the time. When I go to Germany, Nathan, I have people tell me, you've been in more places than Germany I have. It's, your own home seems to be less interesting than the more exotic foreign country stuff. But the one thing I haven't seen is I have not seen the Pacific Ocean. I would like to get to the northwest coast, Oregon or Washington someday, and maybe the San Diego area, and just see the Pacific Ocean from a couple places. Joyce and I are talking about when she retires, we're going to take a train ride and just go across across Canada, over the Canadian Rockies, and then come down the one west coast line they have there and hit that area. Hey, James Dalton, nice to have you here. How are you, sir? Yeah, it is. It's made for 3-rail. Roco, probably 70% of what they make is 2-rail, but they do make 3-rail product. Märklin and the Märklin 3-rail, there is so much 3-rail in Central Europe, France, all the way over to the Czech Republic, even into Poland. Märklin and 3-rail is such the dominant model system there that all the companies that make DC, the big companies, Pico, Piko, Roco, Brava, and so forth, they make 3-rail as well. They will make most of their big releases in both 2-rail and 3-rail versions because they want to tap into that 3-rail market. You're back.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Decided they got to open up my pit where my internet connection comes in, and I've got bad connection in that pit there. And it's a bloody Sunday. I'm live streaming, and they come today. And I don't want to lose my internet. I'm already having problems. We did do things with the modem and whatnot during this week, and sorry, I got a bit upset, but I mean, you can understand it. Well, this has been going on for weeks now, and it just getting too much. G'day, Lee. Lee, hi, how you doing, bud? And James, how are you? Yep. No, the rabbit's actually quite good. The rabbit's been behaving herself. Actually, she's been quite good. She's settling pretty well at the moment, and slowly learning our boundaries. And now we're having internet issues here. We are getting new cable. I was told the other day, I think that we'd be getting it here within the next 3 weeks. Oh, g'day, Kiwi Dave. How are you, buddy? Where was I when I was really interrupted by the?
You were right there. You were sitting right there in that chair, staring at the computer camera.
Oh, that's what I was doing. Okay. You putting sugar children.
Well, you were talking about you had run out of material, and you were talking about Nathan asking you about your trips to America and other places.
Yeah.
Other places in America.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I do intend to go back. I do intend to go and do some more footages up there. Now, for those that do go down to Tweetsy, there is a place nearby called Chimney Rock or Chimney Mountain or whatever they call it. That's a nice place to go. Go for a ride. Go for one of their boat tours. And it's amazing. You've learned a bit of history. There's been a couple of movies shot there as well. One in particular you probably would have seen is Dirty Dancing. And you do go past the...
Never seen
it. Past where they actually were doing the scenes outside and inside the ballroom and everything else. You go past it. But the most intriguing thing about it is the lake is a man-made lake. And on the bottom of the lake, there's a town by the name of Buffalo. And they say that a lot of the town in the water is still preserved by the cold water, including the bell tower and everything else. I haven't, Nathan. I would love to go and have a look at the National Railway Museum over there. I didn't get that far. The thing is, when I go over there, because I like going there all the time, I don't want to see everything at once. I want to leave things for next time. This trip for this year was intended to come up there to meet and greet up at Strasbourg, and then also Nathan, you got the advantage of seeing the Reading steam engine. I wanted to go and see that thing too, so we would have probably hung around for at least another week or something together, because I really wanted to see that engine. I do have models of it. And I like to go around to a lot of the old towns that's up around there, because I'm still researching for my dream layout, and try to follow the tracks of where that line that I want to model would have went. But there's a lot of ghost towns in there. There's a lot of history up in the Appalachian Mountains, and I love that area. No disrespect for the West Coast. I mean, there is a lot of nice history over there too. And I will probably get to that one time if I'm still alive. I don't know. For next year, I don't know if I'll be able to make it, because I do have an appointment on 1st of May up at the embassy up here in Sydney, which will resolve things. I'm not planning at this stage to go to the United States next year, because I don't know what's going to happen up there. We should be able to resolve the matter there. Yeah, okay, Nathan, yeah, I've seen the stuff that you have online for the T1, and I wanted to be there for the actual first run, the first passenger run and everything else. You guys managed to be there. I didn't. And I'm very dirty about that, and there's a lot of other things. G'day, Whitewall, how are you? When I resolve that matter, if I get that worked out, I will try to get there for October. October is my favorite month to go to the US. It's comfortable. You got pretty colors around the place, especially with those fall those autumn leaves going changing colors and everything else. And there's not so many holiday troublemakers hanging about. Yeah, so but my big plan for next year is to stalk this guy for the first couple of weeks in June, and then I'm going to leave him behind, and I'm going to go and do my own bloody thing. So I do want to go to Germany and go down to Munich and have a look at Mini Wonderland. I do want to go there, because Munich's not that far from where I want to go into Austria and into the Swiss Alps. The music festival starts up roughly about the 9th and 10th in the mountains, and I want to go through there. And I've decided I'm going to go to Croatia as well. My auntie is still alive, and that's near the Italian border. It's in a place called what we call Rijeka. It's not far from Venice. It's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Venice, is it, or Florence? One of those two places. It's not far from the Italian border. But I'm going to go see my auntie. I'm going to spend about probably a week and a half there with them, and then return home. She was a sweet lady. At this stage, as far as I'm aware, she's still alive, so I'm just going to go and give her a surprise visit, knock on the door. So, yeah, that's what my plan of attack is. I can plan that because I'm allowed to go over there, because there's no issues in travelling. It's just that country up in the northeast corner from me. That's having a bit of a problem at the moment. So yeah.
Hey, George.
I'll
Got 2 Georges today.
Yeah, George. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the link up if anybody wants to come in and annoy us for a little bit and have a little chit chat. What's that? Be 9 rabbits when you get back. No, there won't be 9 rabbits when I get back because Pixie has been desexed, so I'm not going to have any rabbits. If I've got 9 rabbits, I want to know where they come from. Because it won't be mine.
She knows how to open that one door and whistle for the boys.
She's already been hanging up on the windowsill and checking the boys out, and it's like, what are you looking at? And she's like, oh, I'm not doing nothing. But yeah. I came home late last night, and I tell you what, Animal is just an amazing creature. She never does. She's been getting up on the windowsill, and she's sitting there. It was pitch black, and she was just at the window waiting for me to come home. As soon as she comes in, as soon as she saw me in the gate, she's raced around the back door and greeted me. I mean, that's a nice feeling when you got a creature that does something like that, waiting for you to come home. Yeah, well, it is. We okay, I don't mind the touristy things, the popular things, or tourist spots. But I like to get out of that. There is so much to see in the country. There's more to America than Hollywood. There's more to it than Disneyland. There's more to it than, sorry, no offense to Heath. There's more to United States than New York, Las Vegas, and those sort of places. You got go and jump in a car and do a trip. Take it 2 months off, 3 months off. Drive across the country. You'd be surprised what you find. The best part I had when I was there on my second trip to the United States, we drove across to Miami. When we came back, we were roughing it. We decided, me and my friend of mine, my New Zealand friend of mine, and myself, we drove back slowly. Long story short, we were promised a job down at Miami. We didn't get it. And this guy that reckoned he was going to get a job, we got rid of him nicely. And we took our time getting back to LA. LA was our home. And on the way back, we stopped at all these old forts. Like the old, what you call it, Union Fort.
The cavalry.
The cavalries.
Yeah.
Right along. Even in Texas, down in the southern part of it. And it was amazing. What's he saying? It's, to be honest, hang on, sorry, I'm just a bit slow in reading at the moment. Yeah, I mean, even in England, there's so much to see. Anthony's done the right thing. Okay, you've seen Buckingham Palace and whatnot.
Yeah.
Get out and have a look.
Well, when you go somewhere, first of all, what are you interested in, Artie? When you're going. For example, when Joyce and I went to England, we sat down, what do we want to see? And obviously there are some touristy things and non-touristy things you want to do. Joyce wants to see the countryside. Joyce wants to experience nature. And I have more like, I want to see castles and this and that when we did that. But like when we set up London, we both were like, do you care about Buckingham Palace? No. Do you want to go see Stonehenge? No. That wasn't what we wanted to do there. And so, it's the same thing you're talking about when you came to the United States. When you're going, yes, hey, there's more to it. But if you come to the United States because you want to see New York City, then yeah, you're going to go to New York City and see it. And yes, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff here in Toledo, Ohio, but nobody's ever going to be a tourist and say, hey, I think I'll go to Toledo, Ohio and see what's happening. Because depending on the time of year, there might be a couple of cool things going on. There might not be. In fact, Toledo is the headquarters to the largest Native American gathering in the United States, and nobody is aware of that. Everybody thinks out west, but it's every 4 or 5 years you have the nations gathering, and they're spread out through the Toledo area within a 20-mile district, but Toledo's kind of the epicenter of it. And the Native American tribes come out, they show you different aspects of their culture and stuff like that. They're just set up all over the place. And I didn't even know it was that until I taught with a guy 20-some years ago, Jamie Oxendine, who was Native American. And he was a dancer for the Lakota Sioux tribe. And he had moved to Toledo, and he did shows on the different types of traditional dances they did, the rain dance, the war dance, and stuff like that. But yeah, so
we got a similar thing, or not as prominent as it is in the United States with the indigenous people, but I do follow that. I do follow the Cherokee Indians because where I had intended to move to, that was all Cherokee area.
Right.
And I like to take the interest in it because, okay, I know this is a railroad channel. Yeah, there is a little big part of the Indians and the indigenous people in the US for when the railways were being constructed. You have a look what was going on in the West. Well, the Indians are saying, oh, you got this iron horse coming through. It's going to destroy the country or whatever it was. They had a fear for it.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't that far from the truth, but it was enjoyable to see. Like, I hear about Toledo. One of the places where I was in Texas is one of the old big camps down there near just west of Houston, not far from San Antonio. I can't think of the place where they actually, in San Antonio, where they had the last dance with the Indians, with the
Hey, Anthony.
Well, hi, Randall.
Hey, Randall, how did you pop up in there?
Oh, doing pretty good. I just got done with the model train display up there at the Opera House, filming that one. Figure I'd come on and say hi to you guys right quick.
Okay. Yeah, nice to see you again here, mate. And look at this.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, George, I would like to see Bastogne too, although there's probably nothing there connected to. I'm sure there's a couple of sites for the battle in World War II during the Battle of the Bulge.
You see, okay, I like my trains and I like my aviation, but when I go out exploring, I just go out to explore and see what I find. Sometimes I do follow railway lines, like the other week when I showed on my Fun Day Friday the old steel mill, the old Juliet steel mill, the ironworks, and I came across it by accident.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I did. I just came across it by accident. I knew there was a rail yard there somewhere. It was the first time I used a GPS too, and I seen there's tracks there. But it's funny how I found it. I was at the jail, but I was busting for a leak. I needed to find a bathroom. And I couldn't find one. Oh, there's a park nearby. There's a park there. I'm going to go to this park. There's a bathroom there. I'll go and use that. And then I just saw this steelworks.
Oh, wow.
What resembled a steel mill. And I started walking down along the trail and I'm going, wow. This is amazing.
Dave, take care.
Okay, take care, Kiwi Dave. You look after yourself. And I took photographs, but the footpath that they got in there, a lot of it follows the old railway line, but then rail line,
Nice.
of course, I'm thinking to myself, would have been amazing to see. It'd be amazing to try to picture how the railway line went through this mill. Then I see the old blast furnaces, just the footings, the remainings of the. G'day, Mystic. Just the footings. And then you had the coke ovens, and you had the furnace. When I read into it, there's a lot of historical significance on that steel factory, and
That sounds amazing. I guess it is.
it is, and it has a lot to do with our railways. That steel
Nice.
mill built the railways for United States and Canada at the time.
Nice.
All those new rails that they were putting as it was going west and south and east and west, all these new railway lines that were coming in, it was made in that mill.
Nice. Very nice.
And it just come by accident. And that's the way I like to do my holidays. If I go somewhere, I'll jump in the car and go, and sometimes I'll see a sign. I'm going to stop and see what was there.
Hi, John.
Like even here in Australia, a lot of times, okay, there are a lot of towns. As a truck driver, there's a lot of towns and whatnot I bypass. And haven't had a chance to. G'day, Jeff. Yeah.
Well, where I live, it's the spot like Schuylkill County, Philly, and yada yada. It's famous for a lot of coal region, and when I go to see my Uncle Dan and see DJ, they're famous for the place is famous for Pittsburgh steel, and the spot where I am is still selling a lot of anthracite coal, which I heard is irreplaceable. But they're both I heard they're both dying out, but I find that unlikely because two reasons. One, the rare that, like you said, that owns the T1, they're still selling it, and second, there's like a United States steel mill in Pittsburgh that I recently went to with DJ.
I like to have a look at a lot of the steel mills out of like in Pittsburgh, and the one that Pappy showed me up in Cleveland. The Cleveland plant is our sort of like our sister plant to the one that we got here in Port Kembla that produce the same type of steel and use a similar process. Now, just let me answer this one for Jeff. Jeff, if the railroad shut down, especially down here due to strikes, we still can get around it. We have a lot of strikes here at the moment, and I don't always rely on the railroad. But there's always ways. You plan your way around that sort of thing. I like, how would I say, for me, when I go to Sydney, unless I'm going in the heart of Sydney, I usually go out by train. But if there's a strike on, it's like I delay till the strike's over, or what do you call it? Yeah, I just just wait till the strike's over, or just go on the outskirts of Sydney and catch the bus into town. Mystic, yes. GM was actually known as Holden here in Australia, which Holden was the Australian car manufacturing company. GM bought Holden out, and GM actually shut down the Holden production and took whatever assets they could that was worth to them, and the rest of it they sold off. They sold off the real estate, and they made a huge fortune out of it, including getting the money out of the tax department and our tax dollars to bail them out to keep them going. The cars that they made here were the Commodores. There were some,
Oh wow.
what do you call it? There are some of the last of the Commodores. I can't remember what they're called. That they actually went and we actually shipped them out to the United States, and the police department's actually using. I can't remember the name of them, because they used them as a hot pursuit cars over there. Well, if CSX Norfolk Southern go on strike, it's going to hurt the Royal fans. Yeah, we're not going to get our footage for a while. But I mean, they can only strike for so long. At the moment, the biggest problem that these guys are striking for over here, and I believe it'll be the same thing, Splitlock will probably back me up on this. The biggest problem here at the moment, what they're striking for, is job security, right, and safety. Here, it's job security and safety. In Sydney, with the rail network, they want to get rid of what we call a guard, which is, I think you guys call them conductors over the United States. You've got the driver up the front, and a conductor at the back, where the guard looks over after the trains. They want to get rid of the guard. They want to get rid of the guard that looks after the safety of the train and let it all to the train driver. Now, the way our trains operate, the doors are open, the guard's door is open, and they can look out the door as the train leaves the platform to make sure it's safe. These new trains we got, you can't have doors open. They're all got to be closed before the brakes release. We have a work stand on the railway line where we must wear orange vests, fluoro vests. Now, these new trains and the new colour scheme of the government, because our railways is run by the government, guess what colour they decided to paint the front of the train? Orange. So your orange vest is actually your orange vest blends in with the train. So, the reason why we went orange, because there's no other colour on the railways that matches the orange. You got the yellow light, you got the red light. We're not allowed to wear yellow or red because it blends in with the other rolling stock and signals and so.
Interesting.
We had to wear orange, but now this new trains are painted in orange. We can't have that. Now, they're spending billions of dollars in Sydney on the rail network. And they call it Metro Rail, Metrolink, or Metro Rail. These Metro trains that they got, aren't they? They're driverless trains. There's no drivers in them. And it's you can see the writing on the wall because of the size of the network they've done in Sydney. They want to do away with train drivers. They want to do away with train crew. Now, the worst thing is, you do away with that, you're going to do away with jobs. And at the moment, we all need jobs. Well,
I honestly think, in my opinion,
no, go on, Nathan.
I honestly think, in my opinion, I would think what railroads should do, or railways, whatever. This is just my opinion, but maybe it's a side thing. What I'm trying to say is, as some kind of famous guy or something that supports the railroad or something, sponsor or whatever, if I'm making any sense. That works for the railroad.
Yeah, the problem with the railroad is it's not so much employee related or the ownership related. It's the shareholders now. The more money for the shareholders. Yeah.
So that sounds greedy.
The shareholders want to get their money back. They want to make money out of the railroad, so they don't give a crap about the employees.
Oh,
They just
I know
want to
that
get the money back.
feeling. It's sort of similar to here.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they don't really care what they sell off and get rid of, because that's money in their pockets.
Ooh.
It's money for the shareholders. And it's the way the businesses work, especially when you get on the stock exchange and float your business. It's a cruel business.
Yeah.
It's a very cruel business. You take that personal touch away from it. The more shareholders you bring in, the less personal contact you have with the employees. When I had my own business, I had someone came in and said to me, because I wanted to expand my business. Yeah, it takes money to make money. That's right. But the thing is, I was. Well, they do and they don't, Steve. They do and they don't. When it comes to the voting on these CEOs and whatnot, it's the CEOs that actually mess a lot of things up too. But the CEO thinks, well, I've got to get the shareholder happy so I can get more money.
Well,
When I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine that just sort of said to me, if you want to make your business bigger, float your business. And I'm saying, no, I'm not going to go down that way. One, I'm going to lose my personal contact with my drivers. And another thing is, I have to work constantly.
What does flood your business?
Beg your pardon?
Oh. Sorry, I was just wondering what flood your business means.
I was in transport and logistics. From Australia and globally. Well, that's right. Split lock. Very right. But if I floated my business and put it on the stock market, the thing would have been, if I didn't feel like working this week, I still got to go out and work, because I've got to make money. I've got to make money for my shareholders, because they got to get something back. Otherwise, if they don't get something out of it, they'll pull their money out. Right?
Yeah.
The business got to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Right? Not a single vehicle is allowed to be parked up. Everything's got to be working. So, for example, Nathan, you're working for me. You need to take time off to go to your grandma's funeral or to your wedding or whatever. Sorry, mate, you can't do it. You got to go to work, because I can't afford to sit down and do nothing.
That sounds mean.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's how it comes down to. That's how it comes down to in some ways, because it's got to run.
Oh.
If you're working, with me, when I was able to go to the United States for a month's holiday, I was able to park the truck up. I still made up my expenses, like my registration, my insurances, and everything else. I was able to park the truck up for a month. Now, for example, you, Nathan, you work for me, or even Anthony working for me. And you you would turn around, like you were driving one of my trucks, and you say, Artie, I want to go away for a holiday for a month to Japan or Switzerland or wherever you want to go. I'll be right. Okay, great. You can do it when you're going. Give me the dates. And for that period where you're away, what happens is no one else is going to drive your truck. Your truck goes into the workshop. It gets a big, huge overhaul. Everything gets done to it. So by the time you come back, the truck is ready to go back to work for another 12 months. With all these bigger fleet companies, that are actually shareholders, that have shareholders and whatnot, your truck, Nathan, or Anthony's truck, you'll end up having somebody else go into your truck. Then you see all these scratches and marks and dents and whatnot go all over it. But when you come back, you're not going to have your same job again. You're going to have another position. You're not going to have the same vehicle again because I believed in that truck that I gave you. That's yours. You look after it. Okay, it's different on the railways because you're switching equipment and that, but that's the way I work. That's the way I work with my business. Railways is a different kettle of fish, but United States, as I remember, not even Australia, I was told by a person I work for the railways here, there's no money in passenger trains. Money's in freight. And when you have a look at what's going on in the United States, that's pretty much the truth. You got more freight trains in the United States than what you do here, but then again, you got a bigger population to feed.
Let's see.
Well, size of the country matters.
Yeah. Well, we're the same size country.
Well, yeah. Well, you really have a large country, but you have a population that is pretty much coastal based. You have an interior population that's 10% of your whole national population.
Yeah, well, see, most of our population's all on in the southeast corner.
Yeah.
Like you take from probably about the halfway up on the east coast here in Australia, right down to the bottom rim. That's where the bulk of the population is, and out towards west to the bottom southwestern corner of Australia, that's where the bulk of the population is.
Well, George, the thing is, for the United States, what killed rail passenger service was the interstate highways. We built the highways, and Americans decided to drive was better than to ride a train. That's what, it's the size of the country is one thing, but people used to travel by train. But when we built the highways and we bought our own cars and we were all independent, that's what killed passenger train service. Now there's a lot of other factors that will go into that, but that just gets devious. Nathan, what are you trying to say? Sorry.
Sorry. A few things. Amtrak. When I wrote on it, I'm not gonna say much about this because anyway, there were some who complained how bad the train was slow, and wishes to go on car, but I could see that. But Amtrak is owned by the government. It always has been because the government started it. You see what happened, like you were saying, like rail passenger was dying down. What's interesting about Conrail, the railroad, both Amtrak and Conrail were developed by Congress.
Yeah.
In this country, America. And Conrail, for some odd reason, even though other freight companies, I think it's kind of weird because where I live, Conrail sold a lot of unimportant stuff to them, like the coal region, and that's how Andy Moore got, which is Reading Northern now, and that's very big in that. Anyway, Amtrak is still around. They recently celebrated their 50th anniversary, which was pretty awesome, and our president Joe Biden made a speech of Amtrak. Sorry.
Your Amtrak system is like I travel on the Northeast Corridor. Now it pays for itself because of the volume of people that's being moved.
Some of it.
And if anyone's complaining about how slow it is, I'll tell you what, they need a good slap into the back of the head.
Yeah.
They need a good slap in the head. When you look at your train's average speed, especially from New York to Boston, it's fast. I mean, you look at it. Once upon a time, that rail network, it took what, 12, 13, 14 hours to go from New York to Boston, and now you do it in 3.
Oh wow!
Come on.
You can see how lucky I am.
3, 4, 5 hours to Boston.
To be honest, I can understand that. Like, to be honest, like for example, let's say let's just say for my scratch building, like some people I think, oh, that's too easy, or I'm just guessing, but actually it's harder than it looks. Same thing with Amtrak.
Yeah. You see, with the trains that go from here,
the
from my
guy.
place, yeah. You see, for me to travel from here to Sydney, from here to Sydney, the average speed of our trains between here and Sydney is roughly about 50, 55 mile an hour, average. Only because the line goes windy. However, I do have an advantage when I get up to the boundary of Sydney, which is Waterfall. Okay, the train starts going about 70 mile, 80 mile an hour. That's as fast as our trains will go. Average 70, 75 mile an hour on one stretch of track. But you can see, but going up through, I can bypass all the traffic and I see the traffic jam on the left-hand side. And that is an advantage. I'll prefer to go to Sydney by train than by car because I get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 65 mile an hour, that's still a lot faster than what we've got here. For that to move that type of population, yeah, it is feasible. It is profitable. The long distance, it is time, but then again, the airlines has also taken a lot of it away now. You still have the bus service. Bus service is dying, but a lot of bus services you do get, if you still got them. I don't think they do it in America like they do in Australia. So a lot of towns here, the government subsidising the road coach industry, so they can actually connect the towns.
I know everybody won't agree with me when I say this, but I think Amtrak's more efficient than cars. And the reason why is to give you an example. Like, let's say this one's Amtrak and this one's just one car. And let's say one car is one person and several of these. I think it's more efficient even for like climate change. It could be less of that if you just go to the train instead and everyone could be happy, which I know isn't too easy. So that's my opinion on that.
Well,
you got it, Anthony.
Yeah, there's several factors into that when we're talking about efficiency. Now, my wife and I try to be very green, but when we talk about Amtrak, we live about a 4 to 4.5 hour, sometimes can do it in 3.5 hours if traffic's moving, from Chicago. We're east of Chicago. We're about 280 miles east of Chicago. And the Amtrak train can take, if it's moving on time, and that is a gigantic if. Because it's 2 hours late, 4 hours late, 6 hours late. It takes 5 to 9 hours. The fastest it'll get to Chicago is 5 hours. And it can take as many as 7, 8, or 9 hours to get from Toledo to Chicago because of the way our railway system works, which is that freight traffic has priority on all these lines, that even when Amtrak co-owns them with the freight companies, the freight has priority, so the Amtrak trains have to pull off out of the way. So plus Amtrak can be, I mean, even compared to what I travel in Germany, I always travel by train in Germany, but Amtrak is 3 or 4 times the cost for the same distance, where it's cheaper to take a train in Germany than drive a car. It is much cheaper and much more efficient to take a car and drive from Toledo to Chicago than take the train, because the train is in between Toledo and Chicago, it's unreliable. You don't know if it's going to be on time. If you're trying to make it, if you want to go there one day because something's going to happen the next day, you're okay usually. Because my son has done this. He traveled by train in Germany many times and thought instead of driving to Chicago with some friends to go to a concert, they would take the train. And it was 4 hours late getting there and 9 hours late coming back.
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon between Toledo and Chicago.
And that's what forces people on the roads. Now, bye, plumber. You're going early,
plumber.
Mate. Okay. Right, bud. You take care. You have a good night. Don't get up too much mischief. Now, like with me, if I go to heart of the city,
Oh,
It's quicker for me to go there by train and back again. It cost me a total of, I think, about $14 Australian, $15 Australian, which is roughly about $10 US. To Sydney and back. Now, if I went up there by car to the heart of Sydney, like the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, that part of Sydney, for me to go up to there into the heart of the city by car, it'll cost me roughly about $35, $40 in gas with the current prices, maybe a bit more. Then it's gonna, if I spend a full day in there, that's gonna cost me about another $60 on top of that for parking, right? And it's gonna take me close to 2.5 hours to drive in there if the traffic goes nicely, right?
yeah.
By train, it would take me an hour and a half to get up there, and I've got an hour.
I see.
Normally, it's an hourly service. It cost me $15 up there and back. That one ticket, I can go on the buses in the city area. I can catch the ferries. I can catch the tram. I can go wherever I want, and it takes me an hour and a half. I can go and have a few drinks as well at the same time. I can go to a bar and have a few drinks, catch a train home, and I'm not going to get arrested for DUI. Because over here we got different things. You don't have sobriety test here. They pull you over. You got to blow into this machine or talk into this machine 5-10 seconds. You got a bit of alcohol in you. That's your license gone. And they also do a drug test too now.
Well,
Yes, it is a lot of money, Jeff. But when I go to Western Sydney, it is actually more efficient for me to go up with my car. Okay, I save on parking because I don't charge for parking out there. But for me to go to Western Sydney, where I have two of my big main hobby shops and do some of my work, to go up there by car, it takes me an hour and a half. It'll cost me still about $40 with gas up there and back. But it takes me an hour and a half back there and an hour and a half back. 3 hours round trip. It's better. It's not so clustered out back at Western Sydney. To go by train like I did Wednesday, my time here. Tuesday, my time here. It took me close to 4 hours. 4 and a bit hours to get to Western Sydney. From my place here, or my station, Untitled, to Western Sydney. Another 4 hours, 4.5 hours to come. Actually, 4.5 hours to come back. Because I've got to go into Central, change trains in Central, and then catch a pretty much the system's bad over there. There's no express services to go to where I had to go. And it was all stations. It'd be like going from Daryl will probably got a better idea. He'll know what I'm talking about. It's like going from Hollywood down to LAX. It's stopping every 3-4 miles at every main suburb.
Mm-hmm.
That takes about 2.5, 3 hours just to do that. So for me, it was more efficient to go by car. So you got your ups and downs. The network up in the city does need a bit more improvement, but it's only because the people that are in there don't, are sort of like because it's government operated. Because it's government operated, they take care of where they get the voters from. G'day, H.O. G'day, buddy. How are you? I keep forgetting your name. H.O. Steel Mill Modeling. How are you?
Hey,
Yeah,
Possum
to be honest,
Bayou,
Link
how
Trains
much did
Empire.
you pay for that trip? Sorry, Possum Bayou posted something that's related to what we're talking about there. How much did you pay for that trip?
Yeah, it is. In some ways, it is easier to drive. only to catch a train.
Yeah, that trip makes more money than any other Amtrak does at all.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff. Yes, we do have our steam trains. Actually, we got the last run of the year. Phew, spit it out, Artie. Our last lot of runs are coming to an end this month. There is a run coming down here to Wollongong at the end of this month. Oh shit! You just reminded me. Thanks, Jeff. I'm gonna see if I can get onto that train trip. I'm gonna see if I can book a ticket on it because that's the last. When she comes down here, it's gonna be the last train trip for the year. We do not run our steam trains during our summer months because it's a high risk. It's our fire season here, bushfire season, and they will not run the steam trains in our fire during our fire season.
Well,
and g'day, Mike. How are you? Nice to have you up here. Yes, we do have. I missed out on going on the train ride in, I think it was July. Yeah, in July. I was going to go on a steam train ride with a double header of the 59 class, which you see a lot of times at the end of my videos, and I have shown it when she's done the runs here. She was supposed to do a double header with you guys call it a Hudson class, a 464 from Melbourne. Now, it's the first time that steam engine ever left the state. Mainly because it was actually broad gauge. It was five.
Oh wow!
It was a 5'3" gauge, and when they standardised the track, when they removed the broad gauge between Albury and Melbourne, Albury's was the border south from here to go to Melbourne. When they removed the broad gauge tracks and made it standard, it could not travel back. It could not go back to the border. So they converted the axles of the R class to be standard, and that made it so she could actually come up to New South Wales, up to my state. But unfortunately, we had a big deluge of rain, and where we were meant to go, we were meant to go through one of the old mines, and that the rail line flooded. And I mean, it flooded big time. It was, I think it was about 18 feet. 15, 18 feet below water, the line. Possum Bio, that sounds fun.
Where I live, it's not old coal mines, but there are some historical mines. Like, I think like this one, it's close to where I live. I forget what it's called, but anyway, they have two steam engines. They don't really ever go in the mine, but there's a diesel that goes into mine, but it's for like a history thing more than an actual mine. Because I heard, like, let's say you just have a museum, you can never ever use coal for the steam engines or sell it. You would have to buy it separate from the coal mine itself. But so it used to be half a strip mine, half a coal mine, and that's where half the line goes just for the steam engines. Only one steam engine can go, but it looks like a regular, like standard gauge train, but I'll say it's narrow gauge. I heard they used to use them for dump trucks before dump trucks took over. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we had something similar here, but it's actually. You did break out a little bit like that. Sorry. When you look at the mine and the strip mining and everything else, it's actually quite amazing and interesting. The reason why they are doing mining in that way. like along the coastline here, there's a lot of mines here, and there's only now one on my coastline here. There's only two mines that are actually serviced by coal trains now. The rest, sorry, three mines. They're serviced by rail. The other ones actually closed down, or they actually interchanged with one of the mines, are all underground because it's all owned by the one company. And what they've done is they've interchanged the mines together, and it all comes out in one spot now. What they've done is now up Newcastle, which is on the other side of Sydney. The mines down here are all underground mining. And it's because of the way the coal seam is laying in the mountainside. You go up over to the north side of
you mean it doesn't like change the scenery or something?
Yeah, the ground changes. Now over there it's open cut mining. What you call well, it's basically open cut. And the reason behind it, because I asked why the difference in the mining. What you call it, strip mining, you guys call it. The reason behind it is the way the coal seam sits up in that part, instead of going straight along like this, it's in a waveform.
Interesting.
So the only efficient way to take that coal out is to strip the layers back and take the coal out. And when they take the coal back, I don't know what it's like in the United States, but here in Australia, once that coal mine is finished, all that overburden and everything else that was taken out, it's got to be put back in. And when they finish with the coal mine,
you mean like anything?
They've got to make it look exactly the way it was before they cut. Before
maybe
they
like dirt or anything similar to that, like refill.
They got to refill it all.
That sounds very strict, to be honest with me.
It is.
Oh wow, that could take a while.
It will. Now, yeah, well, that's the only way. That's the only way they can. That's the only way they Mystic. That's right. It's the only way they can follow, because you can imagine you've got a seam here, but that seam ends up dropping down, or it goes up or down, and it goes like a zigzag, like this. Our seam that we got in my area is pretty much level, and it goes. The seam up here in Escarpment goes out west, roughly about 40, 50 miles west, and that becomes the end of the coal seam. But there is another coal seam below us, out to sea, but they haven't worked out how to mine underwater.
Oh, I live.
Now,
I heard there's like a strict. Sorry.
I will, as soon as I get in the car back and I'm able to drive, I will actually take you guys. I will take footages of two of the mines I know here. They were the underground mines, and they actually have rehabilitated the ground and the land back to the way it was. All the stockpiles are gone. Everything's gone.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's the terms and the condition of the lease. There's one mine nearby. It's A1. That's all finished now. That's closed off. Actually, there's three mines. One of them, Huntley Colliery, which is not far. That was dug up a big hole. Now, what we end up doing there is we actually put a lot of builder's waste in to bring the hill back up and bring it back to the same height that what it used to be. Greg Norman, the golfer, actually bought that place. It was going to build a golf course on it until the EPA decided they're going to dictate what type of waste is going to be put in that hole. And thanks to the EPA,
Oh, wow.
they made a mess of it. We have a big, Gary will know about this one, Creepy, if he's still here. We have an old diamond mine about 60, 70 miles from here. And that was a open cut mine. And it goes, there's actually, I think that I might have a photo somewhere. No, I don't. If I find the photo, I will put it up there one day. But because they took so much, but they didn't just take diamonds out of that mine. They also took limestone and clinker out of it. And
Wow.
now what they're doing is...
That sounds valuable and important.
Yeah, but because that mine's finished, now what they're doing is the city's got an issue with trash. It's running out of landfill.
Oh, no.
So what they're doing is they're actually putting
That sounds bad.
trash on rail, on containers, and there's 2 trains a day going down, and it actually goes past Creepy's place in Goulburn.
Oh, wow.
The mine's not far from where Creepy is. And they train 2 loads of trash from Sydney into that mine, and they're filling the bottom of the mine with trash. Yeah, this is what I'd like to know. Are the mining laws
Well,
the same in the USA in regards to mine closure if they're strict as what they are here?
where I live, I heard there are some laws, like if you want to do strip mining, you can't like strip the entire mine. Some of it has to be still grass when it was. So they believe that if you do it that way, there could be more coal in the future. That would take centuries or more. That's slow. But that's literally what I heard.
Okay.
Documentary.
That's interesting. Yeah, but it's actually interesting. It was very interesting when I was talking to a chap that was involved with mining and surveying, particularly when I was learning surveying, because I was doing excavation on this side. I'm going to go out and learn surveying and work out what's what. But when I asked about why they do the open cut mining, that's where I end up finding out about it. And it makes it very interesting. It's one of those things. If there's something you don't know about, you know someone that knows something of it, ask. They either tell you to piss off, mind your own business.
Again, guys.
Hey, Randall.
G'day, Randall. Welcome back again.
Hi, Randall.
Dropped out, drove home and I've lost signal, so I decided to wait till I got home for rejoin you.
Your signal's still not very good. But what do you expect for a bit of living where you are?
R2D2 sound effect going.
Yeah, but yeah, so that explains that will hopefully that will give some people insight on why mining is done in such a way. But you see, you go along the Appalachian Mountains. Whereabouts are you, Anthony? I mean, Nathan. Whereabouts are you?
What?
Yeah, I'm not near mountains.
See me?
Yeah. Whereabouts are you, Nathan? In the
Oh
US?
yeah, there are a lot of mountains. Oh, where
Where
are
are
you?
you?
Well,
Yeah.
It depends how you look at it, right? I mean, where I live, there is a lot of mountains, but if you go to Iowa, it's like way less mountains. And if you go even further, it's a little different than that, but it depends on the country.
Like what you made? What will you like? What state? What's your major city? Just so we can get geographical.
Where are you living right now, Nathan? Where are you living?
Yeah, where are you living now?
So, sorry.
What's your main city nearby? Where is it?
My main city. Oh, sorry. I was trying to answer your question. Schuylkill County.
Okay. All right.
Schuylkill Haven.
So you're basically
He's in Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Lehigh. Yeah, now I've got an idea where you are. Okay, you see, within your area, you see, with the mining over there, when you go towards the Appalachian Mountains, you see the mining over there, the coal seams and that are very similar to what it is here. But as soon as you start getting close to the flatlands, that's where it starts getting in your corrugated seams, undulated seams. So that's where you start seeing them.
You're saying the ground might be similar or different to where you live, like from this country to where you live.
Yeah, well, I'm going geographically what it's like
Or
on the
am I wrong?
mountainside. Yeah. Let's see. I'm on. See, I've got mountains here as well. Not as big as the Appalachian Mountains, of course. I mean, you go up the top of the Appalachian Mountains, your nose will bleed. Over here, you'll be like, well, where's the rest of it? But still, if you have a look at the ground format, like a geographic geology of the of the ground format, it's very, very similar.
Have you heard of a?
That's right, White Wolf.
I've
That's
heard
right.
of a. Have you heard of a place called Centralia? It's very famous, close to where I live. It's like worldwide famous, I think.
Centralia. I cannot say I recall.
The story behind that goes where it was on Memorial Day, and on that day, the people were first throwing trash down, a lot of garbage, and then there was a fire that burned the mine like faster than coal miners would dig. And it's still going on today, but what happened back then was it got so bad that a lot of smoke came through the ground, and then town called Centralia was becoming dangerous because of all that smoke, and then there were two options, like you can leave, and it was burning, making basements really hot. But the amazing part is, which I find shocking, is a lot of people left, but a few of them stayed. And most of the town got destroyed, and there's very rarely houses left. There was one time a church, I don't know if that's still there, but...
Actually, I do.
It's all overgrown. It's all overgrown or abandoned.
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The shocking part
the mine
is
fire's been burning for how many decades now?
Yeah, still burning.
But before Centralia was Centralia, if you look at photos and compare it to where I live, it's not that different looking right now to it is where I live. Like all the towns look the same in a similar way. I just thought it was a good fun fact.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, I couldn't remember the town, but yeah, I have seen about that. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The people that are still around are I don't want to say. Sorry, what?
We have a coal seam up here. We call it the Oaks Mine, not far. And in that place, I remember they actually dug the coal out and they stockpiled it because there wasn't room down here in the harbour for it to be exported. However, what happened with that coal? The coal, because it got exposed to the oxygen, it started burning within itself, like bales of hay and whatnot that gets wet, combustible heat, and
I see.
It's still burning at the moment. Yeah, what is your most scenic train trip in Europe, Anthony?
Well, first of all, 90% of my train travels, but there's a couple. Anytime I've taken the trains from Munich to either Garmisch or Mittenwald, and you just see that section of the Alps, the Bavarian Alps coming up, and they're just gray in the distance south of Munich, and then they slowly take shape, and then you see the outlier hills. That's beautiful. Joyce and I took a great train ride to Innsbruck, from Mittenwald to Innsbruck. That was very pretty. But the one that I guess, and going along the Rhine's always cool, with all the castles on both sides, all the old Baron castles, every mile or 2 miles along the Rhine, between Köln and Bingen, that the romantic Rhine, as they call it, that's beautiful. But the one that really, really, I was just talking about this the other day, is we went from the city of Dresden, or Dresden as you say in English, to Prague, to spend the day in Prague. And we went through what are called in German the Erzgebirge, which means the ore mountains. And then you get into the Czech border, and all of a sudden the plains of that part of Bohemia, the old farming plains of Bohemia, lay out before you. And they're just beautiful, but then there's the Tartar Mountains way in the distance, and you have the Erzgebirge behind you, and you just come out, and it was very similar to when Joyce and I drove through the Appalachians. We went to a place in Virginia called Newmarket, and we just came out of the Shenandoah Valley, and so that part of the mountains is behind you, and then you kind of see the flatter lands with that line of one long ridge running by you. It was just so beautiful and so different to see. So that might be, to me, what really stands out, because Joyce and I were just talking about the other day, this trip from Dresden to Prague, where you went through the mountains and all of a sudden you came out of the mountains. You have the mountains behind you, and then the plains, and then the distant mountains ahead of you. And it was just, I mean, partly because I'd never been there before, but it's just Hungary's that way, Poland's that way. And, but it was really beautiful between Dresden and Prague.
Yeah. Well, I was, it's going to be interesting, because where I'm tending to go is not far from, is it Innsbruck, where the original Orient Express used to go run through. I'm not going to be far from that. INNESSC.
Where's my buddies? I don't remember if it went through Innsbruck or not.
Yeah, it did.
Because it went over to Vienna, so it might have gone through Innsbruck to get over to Vienna.
It went through Innsbruck, the original, when they used to have still had the old steam engines.
I still remember the '76 Winter Olympics in Innsbruck, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Because where I'm going to in Austria and Switzerland, it's not far from there. So I really do want to go up there and have a look. And there's a lot of other trains that do actually go up there. You've got the narrow gauge, you've got the cog-wheeled trains up there too. So I really like to go and explore some of that. Then I've got to work my way out from there to get to Croatia. But now they've got the new international EU rail network being constructed over there, connecting all these EU countries together under one standard of high-speed rail. And it's amazing. Like, even close to my mum's hometown, there's one they're doing work over there too now. But Croatia hasn't caught up. So I've got to work out how I'm going to get down to Croatia. Because they're way behind with their track upgrade, especially coming from Austria and Prague and going down to the seaside, which I thought they would have done something with it, because that's a high passenger rail traffic corridor, especially during the summer holidays. Yeah, we're going to have a look at that. I'm going to have to catch up with everybody's videos. I mean, you guys have put up so much.
I feel like it's hard to. Yeah, that's the reason why it's hard to keep up for me.
Well, I just been the last month has just been hectic. I mean, even with Anthony put that 4-part series, his 3/4 part series with OBS.
Typical Anthony, it was supposed to be a 3-part series, and then it became a 5-part series. Well, 4-part, but I added a sort of an epilogue where I showed my computer and how I have the 10 camera, 11 camera view that I have. But
yeah.
there's always things that, when you sit down, okay, because I got emails from people going, well, you didn't mention this and you didn't mention that, and why didn't you tell them about the shortcut here? And I was like, I wanted to explain this as a beginner to a beginner and said, this is what you will do. And then as you get used to it, you'll find the shortcuts on your own. I had a couple of people that, in fact, George here, Florida Railroad Dog, did a video. He didn't do a live stream, but he did a video where he had the cameras up, and he was, he mentioned that he found my videos helpful. I'm always worried somebody's going to watch my video and go, I didn't know what I was doing, but, so I try to do it every single tedious step. In reality, it will take 10, 15, 20 minutes to set it up, but it took 90 minutes of video to explain it because I'm explaining every single step and why you're doing this.
Yeah. In other words, without offending anybody, to do a simple step, it's like having a dummy explain to a dummy how it's going to work.
Well, that was my goal.
Without having that sounding offensive to anyone, but it's like, I'm a dumb nut, you're a dumb nut. Now you understood how to do it. Now you are gonna tell me how to do it. And it will sink in. It will be simple, basic English, so to speak.
Well, we can't. And when somebody, take some of the people in the model. Whoops, we lost Artie. You take some of the people, and I don't have anybody, so nobody, please think I'm talking about anybody. But there are people that are highly, highly knowledgeable about topics. But because they're so experienced and so advanced with that topic, they actually have trouble understanding somebody who doesn't get it. They have trouble.
I totally get what
why
you're
don't
saying.
you get this? It's easy. Why don't you get this? And so people say, go out there. There's a million videos to help you, but it can't. When I got into the model train, Google it. And the information was overwhelming. And sometimes it just takes one person to say, stop. Let me take you back from step one through. And this is what you do. And, you can be extremely, extremely intelligent, but not be able to simplify it for somebody who doesn't know it to your level.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking.
And there's a skill, and I would like to think I spent 36 years using that ability that I can take. I understand a lot of these things that we talk about at the higher complex areas, but I like to talk about it at the simplest level because for 36 years, I've had to take complex language concepts, whether foreign language, grammar in English and all these things, and explain it to not only a bunch of people who didn't understand it, but didn't want to understand it. I could teach for years and say, okay, here's a prepositional phrase, and I could teach them how to do it, and then the test would come along and they would all flunk the test. And you quickly go, okay, how can I teach this where they'll get it and understand it? And English teachers are famous for that,
the hardest thing I've found about teaching languages, particularly languages, like I speak other languages too, and I'm picking up an issue on some of the languages that I spoke fluently, and that's it. If you don't speak it as often, you forget how to say it. You start forgetting the words. You forget to say how to put the phrases together.
Yeah, if you don't use it much, it could fade away.
When you don't use it on it
every day, you got to use it. But the big thing is you've got to have the desire. There's two things you have to understand about learning anything. Number one, you've got to believe you can learn it. And number two, you've got to want to.
Yes.
I can teach anything to anybody if they want to learn it. And if they're willing to put some work into it, because it's not all easy. It's not Matrix where we plug you into the back and just pop the information in. It's learning something is a two-way street. Somebody has to be able to teach it to you, but you have to be willing to learn it. And
the other thing is also the person that's listening or trying to learn it needs to be able to understand. Like I've gone through. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, there has to be a willingness to want to. Yes, the person has to be able to clarify, explain, and show, demonstrate, but the learner also has to want to. I taught German the last few years where half my students were kids that were just thrown in my class because Dodge was a big, tall male teacher who didn't have discipline problems. And these kids were thrown into my classroom because they were being kicked out of other classes. And the only period free was Dodge German 1. And they didn't want to be there. Okay, so I might have 22 kids in a class. 11 signed up for German. 11 are like, why am I here? And I don't want to learn this. And this is stupid. And, you can't just teach the 11 and ignore that 11. Because if you ignore that 11, you really got... So I got to try to work my magic and convince at least some of those 11, why not learn it? It might be fun. Yeah. And get them to come in to my world. Because foreign language, mathematics, anything, yes, some of it's on the teacher, some of it's on the student. Model trains. There's 10 million videos out there. Why would anybody go onto the internet today and post videos on here's how to do static graphs? There's already 10 million videos out there. Okay. But why do it? Why do it? There's already videos out there because that person thinks they've got somebody in mind. When I do my videos, when I did my Miracle show, when I did my Model Train Outsider show, I had a specific audience. It wasn't the 1,200 people who subscribed to my channel. It was my friends and my family and my students who knew Mr. Dodge had a channel and popped in. Yeah. And so when they would watch the Model Train Outsider, where I had the ghost character, my 2015 me, and that stuff, my students recognized that because, that's Mr. Dodge's alter ego guy. That's Mr. Dodge. They would understand that. My family, my wife and kids, and that my friends understood that interplay because they see that in reality. What they see in my videos is what they're used to. And so when I do Matt Clark, that's my kids. That's just dad. That's dad doing one of his goofy stories that he'll make up and start rambling on for an hour or so. And they'll sit around and listen and laugh.
You can get to a point like I have done some how-to videos like back to basics and whatnot. But it's more or less the same thing as what you're referring to, Anthony. But some people tend to get I'm just trying to think of the best way to say it. The explanation gets too complex. Yes. They make a situation more complex than what it should be. Yeah. The way they explain it should be doing. They forget. They put 10 steps in on one word.
I made the mistake when I got in Model Train 6 years ago. I went into, almost 7 years ago now. I was doing Miracle Train. So there is the Miracle place, not run by the company Miracle. You hush, Jean-Ricard. There is it's called the MiraculinUsersForum.net, and that is the place all the big shots of Miracle who know Miracle go to. And oh my goodness, the first time you go in there and ask a question, it's like vultures on dead meat that the lions left behind. They come in, what an idiot! How do you not know this? Google it! Why do you come in here and waste our time asking these questions? Oh my goodness, they just all... And then if they do explain it to you as a rookie, you're like, Okay.
Yeah.
And then and in a way, that's why I started my channel. When I started my channel and did my Maryland Outsider show, I can't tell you how many people from around the world came to me. All my top watched videos were the Maryland Outsider series, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 8,000 views. People coming in because finally somebody explaining it in English instead of those stupid Germans. Explaining it in English and explaining it easy. And I'm like, okay, and then all of a sudden they're asking me, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just learning myself. And I have people going, well, show me how to do, Maryland just put up this video on how to wire sections to do controlled operations with your Central Station 3, to have it all sectional where, like you guys do with JMRI or whatever, and automated train runs and set up the sections so that you can wire it and have section detection. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that on my layout, but you got to show us how to do it. I'll say, hey, look, I'll translate the video for you. I'll redub it in English and explain it. No, you show us how to do it. I'm like, I'm not going to go and buy all that wiring and all those pieces of track and do all
But I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's kind of when my show petered out, because I kind of hit a point where, like, that's it, guys. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I know. And yeah, a lot of people were frustrated with me because I didn't explain all the deeper secrets, because apparently I was one of the few channels explaining it in English.
G'day, Shane. Before we get too far, g'day, Mr. Number 2, Jean Ricard. Nice to see you. Pop in. You got up early this morning to see us. Nice to have you on board.
John Ricard, I'm not worried if anybody understands me, because even people who think they understand me don't.
But look, they say, have a read of this, have a look into this. Yeah, you probably be able to read it, but it probably doesn't sink in unless you do it practically. There are many people that are like that. They will understand what you're saying to them, and when they do it by the hand. But if they got to read a textbook or whatnot, it just
Okay, the first thing we get beaten in our heads as teachers is, of course, that everybody learns differently.
Yes.
Exactly. And we have to try to adapt all our lessons to everybody. We call it in the biz, it's called differentiation.
And everybody has their own preference.
It's called differentiation. Some kids, you can hand the book and they'll read it and basically teach it to themselves. Other people need you to sit down and hand build it for them 10 times. And when I taught anything, I used to have little building blocks that had sentence parts on it, and I would get my kids up in front of the classroom and run around and say, okay, now we're going to learn word order. What's the one thing you got to know? Well, in German, the verb is always its second. It's always the second idea of a sentence, and so everybody has to move around, but the kid holding the verb can't move. Anything. And we would teach the same lesson 5 different ways, just trying to reach as many kids. But there comes a point where you also have to move on because there are standards. But the same thing is with model trains, except model trains, you can go at your own pace. There is no standard. All right, yes, I know there's the NMRA standards or blah, blah, blah. And you get they set deadlines, build this model by this time. But I'm not into that. You want to build, you build what you want to build. Rule 1, it's your layout, do what you want. And then learn at your own pace. And that's why when you go to my channel, rule number 2 is don't tell somebody what to do.
Exactly.
We just had a live stream from another channel a couple of weeks ago where the person came on and just wanted to talk about a decision they made. And they just wanted to talk about how it was a hard decision for them to make. And everybody in the chat is like, you should do this and you should do that. You got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do that. And some might be great. Some might be great pieces of advice. Others were stupid. But in the end, the person wasn't asking for advice on what to do. They were just saying, I've made this decision and it's hard on me. And, too many cooks spoil the dinner. And that's why, unless somebody in their video says, okay, hey, if anybody has an idea on how to do this, put it in the comments below. But we're often
we succeeded, Anthony. We succeeded. Out of 17, 20 and all people that we had coming into our stream today, someone has actually learned something. He gets a platinum star for that.
Auhagen are great models, 187. Auhagen are awesome models for the price. They're not the finest looking, but they're easy to make really sharp. Auhagen make great, and they're the cheapest in terms of price, the least expensive. They're 1/2 to 1/3 the price of Fowler Buildings or Keebri and the other companies. Auhagen make great models for a very, very nice price if you're modeling European, and a lot of their buildings can actually be situated into American situations as well. Sorry about that, but I saw the comment.
Steve 87th. That's why you have now missed out on the free Amtrak giveaway we just had about half an hour ago.
It was a beautiful locomotive you gave away, Artie. That's all I can say. Beautiful locomotive.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was given away in the dark. If everybody saw that, that was after who was it that got offended? Mystic, wasn't it? That got offended. Yeah. Who was it I offended?
I think it was Mystic.
Yeah, it was Mystic that I offended. Yeah. It's coming down the drain pipe now.
I have something to add, like in a positive way.
Go for it.
For me, I guess it's a little different, but I'm one of those people like how you. I do agree with what you're saying. Like, there are some people who rather do what they do, and I believe there are some people out there who just like to control what you want to do. Like, for example, like let's just say in a magazine, MRR magazine, saying,
"Yeah,
you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it that way." Like, who cares? It's up to the person individually.
Exactly. I mean, look, the things that you do, Nathan, the things that you do, it just blows me away.
Nice.
It blows me away. For you to be able to get down there, work on a tin can, and create such a thing, that's using your imagination and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, it's out of this world. That's what you enjoyed. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And I think I'll speak on most of the viewers that's viewing this now. It's amazing work that you do.
All 50 of them.
Yeah, it's amazing work that you do. I wish I could do some of that stuff all the time.
Yeah, it does get hard sometimes, to be honest. Like let's just say I want to make a certain shape. It can be hard sometimes, but if not saying just for me, but for anybody, like if you are willing to do it, I think that comes a long way to success.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing that it did remind me of, though.
And what's
when
that?
I first saw the one that I think you sent it to.
I sent many others.
The first one that I saw, was when you sent yours over to Heath. Was the first one that I saw.
Oh, Heath.
Yeah, last year.
The GG ones.
Now, yeah. When I saw that, the first thing that reminded me, and it took me back, I've done it some of the other models, but in some ways it took me back in time.
Wow. Nice.
When I looked at, I visioned the guys from, a lot of them are passed away now, from the oldest model railway club, in Sydney, which was formed in 1932 or 34, somewhere around about that time.
Good night, Mike.
Good night, Mike. Stay safe. They made stuff out of tin.
Wow.
There was no plastic back then.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I don't even think cardboard was invented there. Yeah, they did have cardboard.
Oh,
but
wow.
there's no plywood.
Yeah,
plywood wasn't invented back then. They had something similar. Oh, boy. Should I let him in or not? Number two? We better.
Hey, guys.
Oh, hi there. Hi, Daryl.
That's when I saw you do that thin stuff. Okay, I like the funky colors and everything else on it, but it was like it's showing people how to make. You don't have to go out and buy $1,000 locomotive to make it look good. You can make stuff out of a tin that looks like a train. You can still have fun with trains.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started from.
Yeah. Honestly, I admire people who enjoy Tycho, and the reason why I say that is, like,
I
who
love
cares
it.
if you get, like, who cares if you get the very expensive locomotive, like saying you're supposed to. That's how I sometimes people think. But sorry.
So
My
I
Bible-
wanted to comment on Anthony's 4 and 5 part series.
Yeah, now you're in the crapper, Anthony.
Anthony, I did give you a really nice shout out Wednesday night.
So,
you are one of my people who I
Nice.
picked out during the weekday that did a really nice job on teaching. And how I found that out is I watched George from FL Railroad Dog, and he said that Anthony's 4-part series helped him out, and it was just awesome what he did. He went from not streaming to full-blown 4 cameras, and hats off to you, Anthony. Great job.
Oh, thanks.
You did an awesome job.
Sadly,
I
that
wanted
series was supposed to be out 2 months ago for my friend Chris, who died. He wanted me to do that series for him, but
Oh, no.
I guess better late than never, but not really.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that that you got hats off for that, even though you did, but just from me to you, what a
Thanks.
wonderful and nice thing that you did.
It's
Hello,
free.
Artie.
Okay.
Hello,
Right.
Nathan.
It costs
Hello,
me no
everybody
money
in
to
chat.
do it. It costs me no money to do it. Nobody has to watch it, and if it helps one person, I've succeeded. That's what I say about my live streams or any of my cartoons. If they don't cost me anything to make, I'm doing that stuff anyhow. And if it makes one person laugh, it's done. I've done my job.
Exactly. And that was
Yeah.
what
Okay.
my whole deal was for me. If I can help just one person out, it was all worth it to me.
How you doing off the rails? Nice to see you here again, buddy. Here, I'm going to show you the my encyclopedia. Now, this is where it relates to what Nathan does. And this is where it takes me back in time. I mean, out of this little book, I mean,
It's scratch built. That's amazing. Wow.
right?
Nice.
Now,
That's
these
like the
were
first looking
made,
Hunter Strange.
the middle one, the one up the top is a wooden one. It was made in 1880. The one in the middle was made in 1832.
Wow.
And the bottom one was done in 1860. So it gives you an idea of how far back the modeling goes.
That's
And then it
amazing.
wasn't none of this fancy commercial stuff that you see now.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, in another section here, if for electric trains they were eventuated.
Oh, yeah, there were steam engines, like real ones.
You have a look at this one here. Right?
Oh.
No tracks.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Right? That's the things they used to do. We didn't
Oh,
have
just like
any fancy,
imagination.
yeah.
That's amazing.
You didn't have any fancy rulers or scale rulers or anything like that. It was just you, as you said, just use the imagination.
Oh, like, well,
So I see Thomas. I see Thomas is still here in the chat. So Thomas, I just wanted to tell you, my friend, you had a nice live stream last night. And after the live stream, I actually went up on YouTube and I actually watched some Great Northern Railway, the Musabi line, the Kelly Lake, and all that Duluth Harbor stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Now I kind of understand why you do what you do. Very, very cool. Sorry, Artie. I just wanted to put that out to Thomas.
Yeah, I missed
So,
his live stream. I had a different engagement yesterday. Just let me get at
You're
this
getting
one
married?
here.
Anthony.
It's a freak. I'll get him back.
Hey, Mystic.
You and the rabbit decided to take the relationship the next step. I'm proud of you, Artie.
No. The rabbit actually got to the house while I went out for the day.
so
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Dude, it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything like that, honestly. If you want to convert it to basic DC, it wouldn't be too hard. Just pull out the mech in it and rewire it. I am going to be, after things settling down, I do have to rebuild a Paragon 2. Paragon 2 AC 6000. Now,
is that a new look? Wow.
well, this one here. I've got to rebuild this one.
Oh wow, that's an American one. That's awesome.
Nice. It's in the Australian colours. I've got to redo this one because the chip has cooked in it. It's not. And now, before anyone makes a comment about BLI being crappy in this and that, now Daryl down here will vouch for me. No, the party wasn't at my house this time, Anthony, Randall. It was somebody else's place, and it was only me and her invited.
Party at Artie's. Come on, it works, man. All that alliteration. Party at Artie's. Come on.
Now, before anyone says BLI stuff is crap, I know I haven't had much of an issue except for one. But what happened with this engine here? That belongs to, I don't know if some of you regular viewers remember Richard. He's not far from me here. He usually comes up on my streams every now and then. That belongs to his brother. He was running it out in his shed one summer, and the temperature inside his tin shed got above 100, 105, 115 in the shed. And he was running that train in, and it got so hot that it actually cooked the decoder. So when you run some of your trains, you want to be aware of
that's not good.
Yeah, it cooked it because he was running it continuously. He was running it for about 5, 6, 7 hours non-stop, just letting it run around.
Oh.
And we all know that electricity generates heat, and he's cooked it. Now, I'm going to be swapping out the decoder in it, and I think I might do a tutorial on how to swap it over. Soundtracks has got a video out there on how to swap the decoders over from the Soundtracks one to from BLIs to Soundtracks, but it wouldn't be too hard to do it. But you need a bit of time. Well, they do have. I mean, it's like with anything. I can get good stuff. He'll get the good stuff. This sort of guy will get the lemon, but that one there is getting the. Depends on how many. Depends on the luck of the draw. Yeah, well, that's right. After hours, I mean, 6 degrees Celsius. So that's like 120, 130. But then again, the sun is a lot hotter over there. Here's on the other side of the country, where it's red. The 6 degrees, yeah, that's about 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. And that's in the shed. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys are running in the shed, you just want to be aware of when you're running your DCC trains
Ooh.
that those chips will cook. They will overheat. Yeah, well, Randall, the only problem I have found, and I don't think they've improved on, the biggest problem I did have found with some of the BLI stuff is the way they do the soldering of the wires on some of their stuff.
Oh, away from the factory.
And it starts at the factory, and I did point it out to one. Was it the Hudson or the Reading?
Do you need to
One
eat
of
something, Artie?
That's not me. I think that guy down there's on a diet. I think it's his gut.
Nope, it ain't me. I think it's Nathan.
Maybe.
Wait, what?
You
Say
live
yeah.
next to a street.
Well, it sounds like a motorcycle or something taking off. But
Sorry,
Yeah.
what?
why not make a rumbly tumbly joke?
That's true. Off the road, we can
Oh,
cook on it.
Probably, I don't know if you.
That wasn't
Oh,
me.
my apartment is right next to a highway or something.
All right, who farted? Okay, just
That was
take
him.
care of it.
That was him.
No, I'm not sure.
We'd yeah. So
And
what happens?
So,
what they do is when with BLI, what I picked out, what they do with their wiring when they solder them on the points is, with your multi-strand wires, they're supposed to be tight before you solder them. But what happens is that the strands of wires is sprayed out as such, and it's contacting with another wire
yeah, do it like this.
to another connection, and that's where they end up having. That's where they end up having electrical difficulties. They did fix it up for a while, but maybe they're getting slack. Maybe they're slacking it off a bit again. But my latest engine that I bought from them was a big boy, and I have not had issues
From BLI.
from BLI.
Okay.
I have not had any
See,
issues.
I know the names of some of these companies, but I don't really know much about them other than I have watching the American shows that I've been watching. Is BLI seems to have a rather low opinion among a lot of modelers. But there's hit and miss, and sometimes it's just where they're building them. I think was it Randall was talking about the QC, the quality control. He thinks is really bad, that their electronics are garbage, and the quality control, which to me is one and the same. Quality control should be making sure the electronics are good.
Yeah.
But
well, if you're offended, if you've been offended, split lock, we've achieved our goal. Okay? Yeah, we've done our job for the day. We can all go home now. But see, I ended up getting the, 1943 Athens engine. The one that was done in military colours for the anniversary of World War II. I've had problems with it, and a lot of it is with the lighting on it. And I couldn't get. I actually got less help from Athens than what I did with Broadway when I had my Hudson fail, and when I had one of my AC 6000s.
you suppose that's.
I have not had that issue. HO Scale Steel. I have not had that issue. I don't know what's.
I remember Heath doing a video and somebody else doing a video where they bought some from BLI and they had all kinds of problems with them. They said, but BLI was really good with their customer service to fix it, or was really good. And you suppose because they're constantly having problems that their customer service is really good because they do want you to keep coming back, make better product to begin with. Then, but I don't know. It's just interesting that you hear this BLI low quality locomotives in a lot of ways, or problematic. Maybe problematic is a better way to put it. but that their customer service after purchase is really good. Where Athern is like pretty good coming
Right.
out, but I've heard people say their customer service isn't always the best.
I don't know. It all, I suppose, with everything, it all depends on who you get on the phone. You know, I haven't dealt with them for a while now. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with them, Dan. I mean, they used to be good. They used to be good. What they doing now, as I said, I haven't really dealt with them as much lately, but yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in my world, we have a company called Mahano, which is actually a Slovakian company.
Yeah.
And Mahano, depending on whom you talk to, they're cheap pieces of crap to they've got a huge fan club and people like them. They make American locomotives. They make worldwide. They make models for just about any country out there except the UK. But they just have a really curious reputation. Some things they're supposedly really good with, and other things they're really bad. It's just you don't know.
Upstairs.
Yeah, well, if anybody comes onto my channel, be expected to get offended. Because we all offend each other. And that's why we all got a smile on our face and we're all happy. We all kiss and make up and shake hands and we're back and...
I'm not kissing you, Artie. I've told you this.
Oh, come on, darling. Come on. Yes, Nathan.
Hi, Dwight.
Hey, Dwight.
Hey, Dwight. How you doing? Yeah, so excuse me. It's like with anything. You can have a bad car. Even like with cars, you can have a bad car or a good car. You know, someone's going to have a good run with it, and someone's going to have a bad run out of it. For example, the car that I own now, it's a Hyundai Elantra. And after the experience that my friend had with it, I said I'll never buy another one again. I won't buy one. Guess what? I bought one, and I haven't had trouble with it. You know, I must have got one of the good ones. He must have bought, and I bought my second hand, used. He bought his brand new. Hey, High Plains Drifter. What's he saying?
I have a. Well, you know, you were talking about Mahanos.
Yeah.
I have a different opinion about them.
Okay, come on.
Well, it can't be different. People either love them or hate them, so it's one or the other.
Oh, I really think they're high quality, because, for example, my first steam engine Mahano, I converted into a 425, like close to where I live. It's already a northern one, and that I never had trouble with it ever.
I'll be back in a minute.
Other times.
Shh, it's the wife.
Do I have to wait for him?
No, go ahead, Nathan.
No, Nathan, continue. I've got to go and
Go
put
ahead.
the computer in.
Sorry, I didn't realize that. Oh, darn it. So, well, after the 425 train that's from Mahano, I bought two more, and they were similar. But maybe I should make a video about what's the difference between old Mahanos and new Mahanos, because it looks similar, but certain parts that are older than others. So I guess my point is that I liked Mahano so much that I bought two of them and I converted them to scratch build engines. I still have them; they work just fine. I have minor braking, but it's nothing like to gears or anything. It was just, to me, it's like high quality. I think they're the best.
Yeah, I've never owned a Mahano.
I wish their
I've
stuff
never owned a Mahano,
wasn't
so I won't say
expensive,
they are good or bad. I just go, like with my American forums, my 3-rail forums. There's a love-hate relationship. Some people really love them. Other people say they're low quality. But I've heard certain things. Like I have heard their American line from a few people that I know have bought. like you saying they love it. Like the stuff they send to America or make for the American market is really, really good. But some of their European stuff is just. But I've never run it, so I can't do one way or the other.
Yeah. Sorry if I sounded opinionated. I never bought. Sorry,
it's all good.
So I never buy any new Mahano. I only have the old Mahano, but like I said, there's certain detail parts. If you look at older stuff, they're a little worse. All you have to do is replace the motor, and there'll be like a brand new engine. But on newer Mahanos, not as old, they have cam motors. I recommend getting those. Yeah. But like I said, they're very similar. They look the same, but they have little details that. Sorry.
No. I just I wanted to answer
Sorry,
Splitrock's comment here. Is that actually that has been toyed with. I am going to eventually build a little diorama of the city of Big Gulch, and yes, there will be a model of that as done. And yes, the original model was the Union Pacific Big Boy, but altered, heavily altered, as in can't be shown on television.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Another good example, I think Mahanos are great, and Harrison from SMT Mainland kind of disagrees, which is totally fine, but he says Mahanos are okay, they're not that great. But like I said, it's his opinion, I have mine, with all due respect. I lost train of thought. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what
just listening.
We're here to take in all the views. And again, like I said, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I've got nothing for or against. I will mention what I hear, and I hear both sides with Mahanos. So when you say you've had Mahanos and you've really enjoyed them, then that just, yeah, that's great. Everybody's got their thing, no matter what it is, no matter what product it is. You've got, some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi. Some people don't like either. Some people like Ford, some people like Chevy. And for those people, you just have a pity because, Dodge is the best. But when you move on from that stuff, it's just whatever works for you. And even a cheap, crappy model, if you know how to tinker and fix it up, is no longer a cheap, crappy model. It's a nice runner on your layout.
Exactly.
So it's like with me, my DCC chips. Like the first one chips that I got was NCE. I got away from them because they were too hard to work. For me, you had to tweak too much, the chips too much to get my Australian trains to run. Then I went into split lock. I got no room for it. Then I went into the ESU chips, program your own sound files and whatnot. But now I'm having problems with it. I'm finding with those chips, even though they plug, you can put them in and get the train running, they tend to lose their sound file memory. Right? So I've gone away. Hello, Joyce. How you doing, boss? And I end up having, I think, about 4 or 5 of my ESU chips fail on me. And I've had more failures from ESU than Soundtrack. So now I'm just converting over to Soundtracks, maybe because they're actually they're actually making small enough chips to put in the Australian engines. Digitracks I've had nothing but problems with. But here you got other people that are having good runs with it. Just the luck of the draw. But as Anthony said, one prefers Pepsi, one prefers Coke. or one prefers Ford, one prefers old GM, and unfortunately, some others prefer Dodges. But yeah,
Yeah, I prefer Coke. Snorting Pepsi just doesn't accomplish the same thing.
just let me comment on this. Yes,
Well,
now I would like to do
sorry.
that split rock, but and I do have the drawing, or I do have the cabs for it here. At the moment, I do not have the space to do it. I need to concentrate on my layout. I'll show you guys what I'm going to be doing, so you guys will have an idea. I've got to stop buying trains. I've just got to stop buying.
Yeah.
Creepy, hey, Mystic.
Artie, talk like that will get you booted off your own show.
I know. But if I'm going to buy new trains, I'm never going to finish the layout. I know you never finish the layout, but I'm never going to get it.
Risk we take in our lives.
And once the layout's finished, I've got somewhere to store it. Look under the table. I don't mind Pepsi. Great Divide. Yeah, I got to start buying. I got to start running it. That's that. You nailed it. You nailed it, Jeff.
Yeah.
I've got to stop buying them. I've got to start running them.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
It stops them from seizing up. Stops them from seizing up. But yeah, those Pilbara cabs.
No.
They're a nice cab. They're a nice cab, and yes, they did do the first lot on the C636 sixes. They did start the Pilbara cabs on that, and they looked reals, really nice too. So I have converted some over here for the river counters and prototypical nutters and whatnot. I have painted a CSX engine with a Pilbara cab on it. Still got to put the glass window on it, but yeah. It's not my stomach.
Yeah, I thought being a rivet counter like counting sheep. I would count rivets and I fell asleep, so I'm not a rivet counter anymore.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll paint that up just to stir people up. That's what I like doing. But look good in the CSX colours. What can I say? It is in one of my videos.
I like.
Yeah, that's the guys I hang out with here in Southern California in the Pasadena area. They're all river counters, every single one of them. And it's funny when you go hang out with them, all they do is argue about the ladder. The ladder's not in the right place. This one didn't have enough rivets in it. It's just, and these are all older gentlemen, and I'm just sitting back watching at these guys, and I just can't believe I'm just there to watch and help them run trains, and all they want to do is argue about box cars that didn't have a lid on it. It's just amazing, these guys, and I'm so glad I'm not into that.
Yeah,
it just gives me a headache.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
you mean a Swiss?
For me,
a Swiss crocodile? No, I don't. Yes. I don't need it.
Yeah, to me, in my opinion, I feel like people who say it has to be a certain way with a hobby. Well, how could it be a certain way if there was no? Well, anyway,
there.
For me, I just rather do what I want to do for myself.
There's nothing wrong with being a rivet counter or wanting things to be as precise as you can make them. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's when it crosses the line from I'm a rivet counter, you should be one too. When it becomes, and sometimes it's a superiority thing. Look at me. I have all this. And, there's a UK guy I used to watch it until one day on a show, I can't even look at a channel that doesn't weather their rolling stock. Oh, I just refuse to watch any channel.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
I
fine.
think
that's fine. You don't have to watch anybody. But
yeah.
Well, those viewers are wondering For those that are wondering what the Pilbara cabs are, that's a Pilbara cab.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right.
Interesting.
I'll be up shortly, I hope.
Now, these are what you used to
It looks
see
so
up.
similar to the top of
What?
American,
No.
but it's so intriguing.
Now, that's what Splitlock was
amazing.
talking about. That's a Dash 8.
That's a cool looking loco, period.
Yeah, and they actually had them running up
Yeah,
in
it
the
looks so
Pilbara.
similar to American.
It's a Dash 8. Take that off,
I wish.
and that's a Dash 8.
Right.
That's a Dash 8. And
amazing.
they changed these cabs because they found these cabs a lot better for these engines, and they did start them with the Alco 636s. Now, okay, the window's fallen off on that one. That's a Barkman one. But I have done, before this came out, I made my own cab. And
That's amazing. I think
I
that's
made my own
building.
cab. It's buried at the moment, but you can imagine this loco painted up in C6 colours. And that's what I did. And funny enough, someone turned around and said, I saw the C6 loco with this cab on. Which didn't exist, but yeah.
Yeah, for me,
Jeff,
I like what it's. Sorry.
Jeff, you're going to have to watch one of my videos. You will see one of those cabs, one of those engines painted up in C6 colours. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
they'll all come out eventually. Sorry, Nathan, I'll shut up now.
Yeah. Sorry. For me, I'm more. I feel like freelancing. This is just my opinion, and I believe Aaron has a perspective on it. But I believe freelancing is more easier than prototypical because, like, you can control things more. But
Yeah,
at least everyone has a preference of something, and who cares what it is accurate? Nah, blah blah. Just like if you go to Right 2 when we first started, it doesn't really matter. I don't think until it got. For me, my opinion, I think it went so serious and overboard, and like saying it has to be a certain way. It's like who cares?
to me, as long as it looks close enough, it's good enough.
Okay, I just put Nathan with his videos. I don't know why it just came to me. It just dawned on me. So here I'm watching this guy's videos, and he's sticking a camera in between the rails as the locomotive's coming. I'm thinking to myself, how does he get away with that? Because I can tell you here, if I was to step on the rails and put something on the rails, it would be minutes. I would be arrested. Minutes. I would be arrested. So I was and I just placed you with you and your videos, and it just took me a minute to think about it. And I thought to myself, how does he get away with placing video on the rails and doesn't get it in trouble? I just kind of wondering. Nathan, how do you do that? You just walk out there in the middle of the rails and place something between the track and nobody says anything?
Are you talking about rail fanning?
Yeah.
Recent stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's easier because I'm right next to a train station when I do that.
Exactly. And I'm just telling you, it's a great idea. I love the videos. Don't get me wrong. I love the videos of the film in between the rails as the train's coming. But I thought to myself, how does he get away with doing that? Because
it's easy.
Oh, you mean
it's easy? It's very easy to explain how he gets away with it, Nathan. I mean, sorry, Daryl. Yes. The best way to explain it. You live in LA. Nathan doesn't.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, there's cameras everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Oh,
and yeah, no, you're probably fine. But I just placed you with your videos, and your channel. You're the guy who puts the which is very cool. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're still doing it, keep doing it. I mean, I like the videos. It's cool. But Artie is correct. I live in a completely different world than you do.
I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No, don't be
this is
sorry,
even more-
Nathan. No. This is not to discourage you, my friend. I'm just asking the question, how is that possible? Because I can tell you, if I stepped on railroad property where I'm taking videos in, it would be minutes. I would be arrested. And it wouldn't matter if I had a camera in my hand or not. So I was just wondering. So no, you're fine. You keep doing what you're doing. I was just saying, and already explained it, and that's true. I live in a completely different world than probably you do. So
yeah, I'm not a Pennsylvania guy.
so that's the same. That's the same here. That too, Daryl. I mean, like I can get close to the yards here and take photographs and videos in my nearby yards here in Port Kembla and Wollongong. But if I go to Sydney, and a lot of parts of Sydney, if I go up into the yards, they're going to haul my backsides into what do you call it? Into jail. I'll get locked up, especially around near Redfern and whatnot. And there's a few other little locations. You can't get nowhere near the railway lines anymore. It's all fenced off. However, here at the moment, g'day Nancy, how are you?
Hi, Nancy.
Over here, it's become a little bit easier to do bill of rail fanning than what is in the United States, what I found. And we have this rule, and it's the fence rule, right? The street side is you can sit there and you can take videos all day long and pictures of the trains all day long, and no one's going to ask a question. Once you get inside that fence line, you're on railway property.
yeah, no, it's the same thing here.
Except for if I go up to Mount Kembla, which was one of my live streams. This guy
I just saw Nancy J's comment. Yeah, no, I mean, and it's just one of those things, Nathan. I didn't mean to scare you or tell you not to do that. I was just it just came to me, it just dawned on me. Your video, I placed you in your videos, and that's the gentleman who places the cameras in between the rails, and it's cool. I like it. I was just thinking to myself, how does he get away with that? So that was it. I could just tell you here, and like what Miss Nancy said, that would be, I know I would be arrested. That would be it. Just as what Artie just said.
But see, I had an issue, and Anthony Dodge was when Anthony Dodge was first time co-hosting for me, and I was doing I was starting my tour around the area, but I went up to the old drift, and I was actually on the roadside property, which was a public property, right? And the security guard bailed me up, saying that was on private property, which I wasn't. And we've fixed that issue up since. And as I stated, I was outside the gate. I was on the public side of the fence. I was not in private property.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, it's just common sense.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just common sense.
Yeah. And
if you're on a rail platform, like what Nathan said, he's filming from a platform, that's totally fine. It's just funny how I placed him with the video, and I'm like, wow, I would like to copy that. I really, really would, Nathan. I think that's really cool video, and continue to do it, please. I enjoy the videos.
So you get a really long stick, and you hide in the grass, and you just slowly poke your little GoPro out there before the train comes.
Oh man!
Or you can get one, or you can go out and purchase.
Hey, I'm on the right side of the fence. I'm good.
Yeah, it's just a camera. You're gonna have to rest the camera. Yeah.
Well,
or you could do what we actually got one guy in amongst the group, but he's not here with us today. but there is one nutter in YouTube. Dave from HO Model Trains. Now, he's got the ideal tool to get you down the railway line, get those perfect shots near a bridge in the middle of a railway track without being arrested. It's got some remote control dump trucks. You know, run it down the track, down the middle of the track to where he wants to get that perfect shot. He can't get arrested. He's not on private property.
That's right.
You know, maybe he might lose his dump truck, but might have to use something else to retrieve his camera, but that's a different story.
Well, we tried that with a drone once, and we got great video once.
Yeah.
Was that before? That before or after the jumbo jet crashed?
We were going to bring that up on air, Artie. You said we would not bring the jumbo jet up on air. And by the way, you guys were having such interesting talk. I didn't get to make a very crude joke. I don't know if anybody taught that off the rails was just going dot, 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 all the way down.
What was that about?
I just wanted to ask if he was having his period.
This one was to Australia. What do you expect?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, "What's that all
I
about?"
wondered if off the rail was on his period.
Probably. It's probably
So Nathan, Thomas from Split Rock asked a question. He says, "Do you model HO scale, DC or DCC?"
No, that's for you, Nathan.
Nathan, I think his camera
Nathan,
froze.
I think it must be cold at Nathan's place. His
frozen.
internet and camera's frozen.
Yeah, it must be his camera's froze. Okay.
Yeah. I enjoy freelancing. I like to use my imagination too. And then again, I usually just throw the spanner in the works just to get at some of the what's the word? Yeah, just to get at some of these river counters and once I take the fun out of modeling, just take it to that level that really like I'm not interested in it. Like what you guys are talking about, it's missing. Like you were talking about before, Darryl, it's missing a hatch or it's missing a door or something like that. That train looks good for me.
Yeah,
I built I remember one of my first early scratch builds. It's gone now, unfortunately. The AC 6000. I scratch built one. This was way before. No, I don't have blue tubs. Split Rock. No, they're actually in the wardrobe. If you looked at some of the streams, you see it's in the wardrobe. But anyway, before, and this is just before Broadway come out with the AC 6000. I scratch built this AC 6000. But I didn't put the American cab on it. I built the Pilbara cab on the front of it. And the mech was an interesting one. And it was an interesting one, and I got it going. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people like, that's a bit long, and go, no, it's the right size. The chassis is the right size. And they go, there's something wrong with this engine. And I go, yeah. When you work it out, let me know. And I just left it at that. And no one picked out what the difference was with what was wrong with that engine. And there's one simple thing. It was the cab. The cab was wrong. But I just let it running. Unfortunately, it got destroyed. So I've got to find the drawings and make another one up.
Is Nathan still frozen?
Are you still frozen, Nathan?
I guess he is.
He's really frozen, you know, bugger.
Nathan, are you there? Okay.
We'll just keep him there in a split lock. And he'll come back.
Well,
I
Dave
like this
says, Dave from Crooked River Eastern says, I have a BLI AC 6000 with smoke.
Smoke. That was one of the
Yeah.
last ones that they did.
Is that one of the last ones they did?
Yes. Yes, that was one of the last ones. Now,
Yeah.
Dave, which one's yours? Is yours the CSX one that you actually got? Which I guess it probably is, since it's a CSX fan. I like freelancing too, Sprit Rock, and as you guys have seen, he'll get back here eventually, but I will be doing some more engines here, which I'll be doing it into the old tangerine orange from the old Steelworks colours that they used to have with the engines here. That's what I liked. Is it prototypical? Sort of. No, it doesn't. No, just certain ones, Thomas. Just certain ones, not all of them. There are only certain ones that we probably pick on, because they pick on us.
No, I don't bash any. I don't bash
No,
anybody. I just said I run with guys
Yeah.
in my town who are river counters, and they give me a headache because they argue too much. That was
Yeah.
the only thing that I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like people that like to get all the last little fine detail on the engines. I mean,
And I think it's pretty entertaining to watch all these older gentlemen argue about where things belong, what didn't belong here. It's just really interesting. I just go out there and turn their trains on and start running them.
Yeah. I mean, I did do a model. I don't know where it is. We're gonna have to locate it. That's all right. That's another one that ended up. No, I smashed that one out of anger. I actually did a proto scale rivet counted style prison van that used to run out of Sydney up to Morawlin. Gary will know what I'm talking about. It's a prison van. It was roughly about 32 foot long.
Just don't ask how Artie knew what it looked like inside and out in detail.
Yeah, I could tell you. I knew how many bars it had and everything else inside. And it had 4 compartments to lock up the inmates when they were actually transporting them from Sydney to the old Berrima jail. And there is one that existed. It's still in existence. It's up in the Thilmere Rail Museum. But it took me like 9 months, 10 months to make. And that was to put on we got a modelling competition that is put on with the Australian National Model Railway Association in Sydney when they had the train show in October. I can't remember what it was at, but I'll tell you what, I really spat the dummy one time, and that car was an unfortunate one that was near my hand and went flying. It didn't survive very well. It was either that or hit someone. But yeah, no, we don't always bash it. I mean, bash people. We're not here to bash people, Split Rock. We're not here to bash anyone, really. Grandpa Rails, I do have many BLI steam locos. The only one I have actually had issues with was one of the Hudsons when they came out with the synchronized smoke in it. There was electrical. That's where I picked that electrical problem. But what I had was a smoke unit, and the smoke unit was off center from the stack. And what it was doing was it was deforming the top of the plastic near the stack, if that makes sense. And I have not had any problems with it. Never. I think I've got 2 Hudsons. I've got 2 of the Chissy Pecking Ohio has 2 10-4s. 2 10-4s? Yeah, 2 10-4s. I've got, I think, 4 Mikados. The reading T1s, I've got 6. I've got plenty of them. They'll all come out eventually. But I've got to finish the layout. I've had a good run with them. Actually, this is what I was going to share with you guys, since we're still on the railway topic. I was going to get one Grandpa Rails, but it's too pricey for me. It got to, it's just a little bit too pricey. $500 Australian for that would have been, it's around about $600-700. I mean, $500-600 American. That's nearly $800-900 Australian, and no, it's a bit too steep for me at the moment. What I might do is I might do up one of the Barkman steam engines I have of it and paint up in this colour scheme. It makes me have fun doing it. I have done a bit of an outline sketch of my. Let's see if I can bring it up on this laptop. Of my layout expansion.
All right.
Yeah, let me bring it up. So you guys got an idea what I'm looking at. That's not what I want. That's what I want. That's it. Okay, so this, the last time I showed you guys was the bottom level.
Hey, Artie,
Yeah,
I got to interrupt you for a second. I got to cut out, man.
You do?
Yeah, I got to drop out.
Okay, buddy.
All right, take care. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for helping out, and I'll
Good night.
see you during the
Good
weekend.
night, Anthony.
Take care,
Very good.
everybody.
Okay, so this is what the in one of my streams I actually showed you guys the bottom level. Now, this is going up to the starting of the next level. Now, it comes out where the mouse is here, scoops around, and it's going to be like on the bottom part here is going to be like possibly an underground station, an interchange. The line here that you see is got optional for another siding. That's going to go to a hidden staging area under the main station. Then it just loops around this nice, basic, simple oval. And I've kind of cut off there because it goes up to the next level from there. It climbs up a little bit more. So I'll just go and get to the next scene. Come on. Okay, here you go. Did that come up? Okay, so this comes up the next level. We've got this arrow here, the green one. That's coming out from the underground. Goes in a sort of like a figure 8. Loops back around and up to the top section here. Now, where I got the mouse here, there's a junction going to be here. Just send the train back down again to have it a continuous run, or follow it up to where the yellow arrow is, and that goes to the where my main passenger station and a small freight yard's going to be. And that's the way the layout's going to roughly how the layout's going to look. That's the track plan on it anyway. I had to work this out because I still needed to work out what other components I need to order from overseas. So yeah, that's the way. That's what I got in plans on creating. Which basically, when I'm in my training room, if you guys remember, I was talking about being behind me. But yeah, it's taken a lot of thought. I have done what do you call it? I've laid the track work out out the backyard on the dry day, marked it out on the concrete, the measurement of the width. The width's going to be 4.5 foot by 8 foot. Now, I did away with a spiral. I don't have room for a spiral. So what I don't have room for a spiral. So what I did was I started climbing up around the mountain. Yeah, well, that's where you're going to come around and give me a helping hand off the rails. You're going to come and give me a hand to build it because it's cooler here than what is in West Australia. What else we got here? Let me catch up and see what we got going to check. Well, yeah, that's right. Great Dubai Mining, yeah, $400 US. You can buy a house over here for that price. That's why I didn't buy one. So, yeah, it's a bit too expensive. Okay.
Good night, 187th HO scale
sorry.
steel mill.
Okay. You do realise the relays are not afraid that you will do damage to the trains or add graffiti. They don't want you to get hurt or killed. Well, that's the thing. Even up here, they always talk about the dangers of being on the rail. Okay. I'm not going to go and talk about the quality and whatnot of the models because everybody's got their own taste of what they expect to see on a particular model, how much detail and everything else. So I'm not going to bash any of them. Everyone's got their own taste. It's like everyone's got their own modeling ability. Some can do. Look, we all do outstanding scenery and creation, but everyone's got their own limitation, and it's a credit to everybody that makes an effort. To some of these railroad model makers, it's expensive to create a model for production. So we got to give them take our hats off for them making an effort to give us something to enjoy. I don't have room for large engines either, but I made room for off the rails. I don't have rooms for big engines either, but I have got big engines and I made a slight bit of tweak. The way you can get yours sorted out is sell off the kids, trade in a wife, and you'll be right. Just kidding. We can only work with what we've got. I mean, I've got big engines, yes, because I like them. I do have some small. Last since I built this section here, I actually bought a lot of the little engines just so I can actually yeah. Thanks, Great Divide. We're oh, I forgot what I was going to. I forgot my train of thought. Been a long week. Yeah, we can only work within the limits that we got. I end up buying a whole heap of smaller trains so I can actually operate on the layout that I have. I've got small locos and or engines, locomotives, whatever you want to call them. So I can actually have some fun operation. Yes, big ones will fit on it, but I'm not getting much of an operation. I'm glad that the little 70 class switches came out. They are my favorite Australian switching engine. Do I have a favorite American switching engine? Excuse me. I haven't really picked out a favorite one out of the American ones yet. I am using those Alcos because they look very similar to the old BHP engines that we had here. It's I had a lot of big engines for a lot of years. Am I going to get rid of them? No. I kept them just in case for my future. Who knows what I'm going to do down the line. But whoever sells it, they'll actually make some money out of it for their inheritance. So I haven't picked out anyone yet. So yeah, be nice. Let me see. What else have I got in the chat here? Well, that's what you can do, Jeff. I mean, you don't need much room. I mean, you do with what you got. Before I came into this place, I had less room than here. All I had was a test track, but I knew it was only going to be a temporary location. So what I did was I went out and started detailing my models. I started weathering my models, the ones that I wanted to weather. I started making some. I repainted some. And going, well, this is what I'm going to want on my layout to run. So I spent a lot of time. I spent nearly 2 years weathering my stuff, painting my stuff. So now when I stop buying stuff, and as soon as I'm able to, once the layout's finished, the stuff that I have actually painted and weathered, I can put them on the track. They're ready to go. You just want an adjustment. I mean, with modelers, I mean, a lot of you guys can turn around and say, a lot of us modelers, we're tinkerers. We always need to be doing something and creating something. You don't need a train to go around in circles to enjoy modeling. You can always make and create.
I'm sorry. Did you say something, Artie?
Did I? Well, look, off the rails. As I just said, I mean, for the time being, I mean, you're a lot younger than me too at the moment. You got to look at: are you at a permanent place, or are you renting and you're going to be moving on into a permanent place? Should you get rid of it? It's up to you, but I wouldn't, because you don't know what you're going to have down the line. If it's something that you really, really like, hold on to it, because you might not be able to get it again down the track. And that's the way I looked at my correction. Yes, I have got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of engines. I've got a lot of carriages. But a lot of stuff that I wanted, you can't buy anymore today. Or if you can buy it, you got to put your house up for mortgage, and you got to rent out your family. preach from the mountains, Daryl. Wake up. Oh, you're great. What? Sorry, Great Divide. Don't tell me they make a 49 classes. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, no bloody way. Oh, how the hell am I gonna afford that? I need at least another 3 of them. I've got at least another 1, 2. Well, yeah. I have not looked at their website. Okay, Oddcision is a manufacturer of Australian model trains, and they do some fantastic detailing on them. But the prices on them, it'll make any grown man cry half the time the prices they ask for it. But a 49 class is very similar to one of the engines that I got. And I'm hoping, excuse me, this time they make enough of these 49s to go all around and make a limit on how many a person can buy to buy out the whole store. And what else do it? Oh, that's very true, Jeff. You don't know what you got until you lose it. Keep it for it might be worth something later down the line. Well, that too. But then again, I kept what I want to run down the future. There are a lot of stuff that I got that I want, but like the what those CSX Wolfers CSX coal wagons. I mean, I did manage to get some, but I mean, on eBay prices, they're worth about 3-4 times more than what they originally was worth, and they're very hard to come by. So yeah, think about what you're going to do, and think about what you got, whether you got. Think about what you're going to do down the track. So. Yes. You see, this is the thing. I mean, this is the thing. Yes, it is very expensive. You look at it. This gives you an idea just to make a tooling of some of the parts of the locomotives and whatnot that we make. It is very expensive. What we do, scratch building is one thing, but when you got to make, when you look at these manufacturing companies, they got to make, say for example, Athern. They wouldn't be making just 100, 200 of those engines. They'll be making at least 10,000, 20,000 of those engines, for example, so they can distribute around everywhere. To make that, you can't be having people sitting down and scratch building. You've got to make the tool and the mold, and the mold's got to be durable enough to make multiple numbers, not just at 10, 20,000. If there's that popular, well, they'll have to produce more. They'll reuse the old tooling again. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go in the O gauge, Gary. It's just too much. Yeah, you can buy when you can afford it. Well, that's true too, JD. You can buy it when you can afford it, and a lot of stuff at the moment, I've just thought, no. Even though I can afford it, I can't afford it. I've got no space. So I've had to bite the bullet, and I'm just going to have to do without. Yeah, I know, Great Divide. It is expensive. Now, if Panorama is doing another run of 49s, I will get one to match up to the one that I've already got. Sorry, we were talking about the Australian 49 class and whatnot. I'm just going to duck out and I'm going to get one out, and because it's on the layout, and I'll show you guys what great divide is talking about. So just bear with me. Could you just mind the fort for me for a sec, there, Daryl?
What's that?
Could you just mind the fort for me while I go and get
Yeah.
the?
Yeah, I'll mind the fort for you. No, not a problem, buddy.
Okay. All right. Back in a moment.
Oh, sorry. I was supposed to mind the fort. Sorry, guys. I was looking at the new issue. So, had some pretty hot topics tonight. I just want to say that I absolutely love my BLIs in Steam. Although I will say I probably don't run them enough to where I can say they're bulletproof. That I can tell you. But so far, all the Steam ones that I have gotten have just been awesome. If anybody can put up comments on maybe some other companies that put up Steam, because I'm not really aware of too many companies other than, well, maybe somebody could put a few comments up. Who else puts up Steam locomotives? But actually, for JD's comments, I agree with you, Nancy, what you said earlier in the comments. Here it is again. I don't run those often enough to where I can say they're bulletproof. Now, if someone asks me about my scale trains, okay, Nancy. Nancy says Kato, and or Kato, however you say it. Those are really, really good locomotives. I've heard nothing, even in N scale, HO just as well. I know Overland makes steam locomotives, but of course, I wouldn't even go there. You're talking thousands of dollars for one of their locomotives. But if somebody asks me about scale trains, hands down, this is what you're seeing run behind me right here. All scale trains. Perfect. Then there you go, JD. You know what? I have Bachmann's too. I have a Bachmann Shea that I've had for years, and I can run it, and it runs great. Here it is again. It's like the Pepsi and Coke thing. Some people like it, some people don't. So far, I haven't any problems with my BLIs. But as far as locomotives, now that's where I've heard people have more problems. I don't know why. So let's see. You guys are still laughing at my magazine. I had that prepared because I knew Artie was going to leave me to run the fort. So I made sure I grabbed some reading material while I was holding down the fort for him. Okay. Grandpa says Allmeyer Bachmann, yes. Randall says Atherin and Bachmann are the only other two manufacturers. Okay. Well, I know. Yeah, I know Overland makes them. Accurel, but I don't know if I think Accurel makes them in HO. I'm not sure. But again, these are like really high end brass, and that doesn't make them any better. I'm like with what Randall said earlier, and I think Nancy, you said it too. I just want to put my trains on the tracks and watch them run. Oh, okay, Jean. Jean says Markland. I forgot all about the European ones. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So off the rails, I think Bachmann's are only affordable company that do the steams I like. And see, there you go. And you run what, I mean, it's just no different than me. I mean, I run what my pocketbook can afford. And like I said, I do own Bachmann steams. The only one I have on the track is my Shea, but the other 3 locomotives are BLIs. I don't run them enough to really say that they're bulletproof. So let me see, BLI. Okay, so Grandpa, BLI is the only one that makes a J3A green. Okay, and that is an absolutely beautiful locomotive. Look, you know what, JD? You know, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and you can get. Look, I've said it before, even on my live stream. I can put one question out to 6 people. Okay, 6 people. By the time those 6 come back, I'm going to get what? 6 different answers. And I just say, if that's something you love and you want to be able to run, I just say go for it. I'm telling you, I've had no problems with them. So let's see. Randall says AccuRail only makes freight car kits, to my knowledge. Bowser made steam locomotives once. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so.
I'm with you there, Daryl. I mean, if you want something, bother bullet and grab it. If he does mess up, if you don't have to fix it up or make the adjustments yourself, get something, find something that will do it for you.
Yeah. And Great Divide said, N scale hands down is Cato or Cato. And I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing but the best. Now I haven't run. I own BLI N scales in sound. They've been in a box, so I'm kind of leery on how they're going to run. They ran great when I bought them, so I don't know what the reality is of those BLI's N scales.
I can tell you this much, Daryl. You're going to have a lot of difficulty in not running them on the layout behind you.
No. I don't run N scale. I run HO. I have N scale. I have a lot of N scale. I have, I have enough to build a layout. But the problem is like a lot of people, I love N scale. I've always wanted to try N scale. The problem is the eyes. Right now, as it is, HO is small for me, and I have to wear, big glasses.
My biggest problem is my hands. Okay, what I'm gonna just interrupt you. When we Great Divide was and I talking about the 49 class.
Do what you got to do, Artie. Yeah.
This is the 49 class. It's an EMD engine. It's EMD version of the 48, which is the other one that you see on my automation running the passenger train. That's the 49 class. And for me, these were also very common sight down in my area. They were a brilliant engine. They could just about go anywhere. And I think there's still 3 or 4 of these in existence. And I would like to get at least, I need to get another one of these. So if Trainorama, if you're right what you're saying there, Great Divide, I'd like to get another Trainorama one to match it up with this. So I've got the pair of the same engine. And this is the color scheme that I worked with. When we talk about eras and whatnot, this color scheme pretty much started from basically from the start of the dieselisation in my state in New South Wales and Sydney, and all the way up to early mid 80s. So this is my color scheme that I pretty much stick with, and I can mix it with what we call the candy scheme. If you've seen the other ones there, where they had 4 different colors. They had red as the main color, then orange, yellow, and white band. So that's what we're talking about in the 49 class, and where
You
So-
caught me. You caught me reading dirty magazine.
Well, I saw you reading a dirty book while you were supposed to be working. But we were talking off the rails was talking about big engines. I mean, I had these for a while. I had nowhere to run, but they're a small, medium-sized engine, and it's a good size one. I could have got rid of it. I did have 4 of them. I was forced to sell 3 of them.
No.
But this size engine, it's a good size. It's got a bit of dust and a bit of cobwebs and whatnot on it. Shows you how long it's been since it's run how long it's been since I ran on the layout. But look at the wheel configuration. I mean, look at the distance in the baggy frame. So it's really hard to get these in an American style. I can use an Australian American mech, but the wheels won't look right. From the distance when I go past, it's nothing. But yeah, it's a nice engine. It's a nice pulling engine. And it was designed the same as the 48 for mixed duties, but for both freight and passenger. But with these 49s, they were mainly used on freight service. Creepy says he's got a P4 ATSF. Paragon 4 had no problems. And yeah, they are very detailed. I got a lot of Bachmann steam engines. I got a lot of Bachmann diesels too. They are in the box. Some of them are going to need to get converted over to DCC. I am going to buy the cheaper option on some of them. Yeah, well, that's what it is, isn't it? That gives you guys an idea. Great Divide he's actually very knowledgeable on Australian trains. He's a bit more knowledgeable than me, and I'll admit to it. I'll make mistakes and I'll make errors. So what I say, what I quote, may not always be the gospel truth. Okay, so
So Artie, the Great Divide Railway mining company, is he in Australia?
yes.
Okay.
Great Divide, you're welcome. I'll put a link down there. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on and introduce yourself. It'd be great to have you on here. I think I know who you are through the exhibition circuit. But yeah, he's very knowledgeable. He actually has got a good channel too. You are a moderator. If you can get his link,
Yeah, I'll put his.
and
I'll put
share
his
it with
link up.
others.
Yeah,
He's got a very good channel there too, and his wealth of knowledge in Australian models. I'm mixed and matched to Australian, American, and some of the European trains, but I'm no expert. I have an understanding, I have some knowledge, but yeah, he's a bit more of an expert than what I am. Oh, he's a Queenslander. Oh no, bugger that! No, he's all backwards. Only joking there, mate. Only joking there. You know what? You know the Aussie jokes about the Queenslanders, and the Welshmen, and the Victorians, don't you? We all. But I suppose at least the Queenslanders stick with New South Wales when it goes against Victoria, so we're okay. But when it comes to playing a football game, state of origin, that's a different matter. There you go. Thank you, Daryl. That's Great Divide's channel. Go and check it out, guys. He's got a fantastic channel. It's pretty good. I got no complaints about it. Only worth seeing is a Queensland born.
So I just gave the Great Divide a subscription, and I turned on the notifications.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to check out your channel for sure. Once I subscribe to your channel, I'm there for duration.
Yeah. Okay, off the rails. You can't kill a cockroach. Okay? Remember that. You can't kill them. Even an atom bomb won't kill them. All right? You can't even drown the bastards. So don't forget. Okay. But at least it's better than being a cane toad. Okay. The joke there is the state that I'm with, this is for the American viewers. The state that I'm in, we're known as cockroaches. The people from Queensland are known as cane toads because they've got so many cane toads up there, and of course there's so many cockroaches down here in New South Wales. Yeah, well, yeah, it's only because I didn't get my stick out in the cattle prod. We had to let you guys win, otherwise you guys will cry all year round. Yeah, we got strong shoulders. We can lose the football game every now and then. So yeah, that's pretty much. So thanks to Great Divide, I'm gonna have to spend some more money. I'm gonna get some more of these. They're gonna look good on my layout when it gets up and going. Put a rack of nice carriages up behind it, and I can put a rake of nice long lot of carriages up behind it. Having one or two of these locos, putting a rake of cars behind it, well, it makes it look like a big long train. You can still do it with a big one, but on a small layout, it actually gives it that false impression. Oh, geez, getting that time. 3 hours have been on here. So anyway, yeah, has anyone got anything else to say? So what's Burlington Northern did an upgrade to some of the C37s that boosted their horsepower. That put the 330 horsepower in Crestwell. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I do have some C337s here as well, Randall, but they got the QSI chip in them, and I'm converting them all over to Soundtrack's Tsunami 2s, and they're all going to be painted up in orange. I'm going to blame, is he still here? Thomas, Split Rock for that, because he's got the yellow for his mining. I'm going to go orange, so have a fleet of them in those cars. I like me Alcos and me GEs. But that happened down the track. Okay, Hyde, playing Drifter. I missed out on you. You have a great weekend. Who else do we have? Okay, we're pretty much caught up the chap. Yes, James. Will James does have a good update and feed on the Australian models, but what's for dinner? Peanut butter sandwiches, Jeff. That's all I can afford this week. Will James, I haven't got his link here now. I'm actually been avoiding his channel. Not that he gives out bad content, he gives out brilliant content, brilliant news on Australian modelling. Let's see if I can find him. He's got brilliant Australian content of the Australian modelling circuit, but the reason why I'm avoiding him is because I don't want to see and hear about the new stuff that's coming available, because I don't want to get myself sidetracked to buying more trains. I'm just trying to find his current news update. He does do a brilliant news update with all the Australian manufacturers, and he keeps up to date with them. So I haven't avoided his channels because I don't like his channel. I just avoid him because I don't want to see what's coming out. The last time I looked at it, he announced the Harris train sets come out, and that broke my bank balance for a while. So here's his channel. He's a Victorian. He's from down the south. There you go. Yeah, oranges. Oh, you are still Hill, Thomas. Well, you seen the orange that I've done with the RS3. That's the way I'm going to be going with the GEs that I've got here at the moment. So they will look nice once they're done, but I'm going to put them projects on hold until I get it up. So Great Divide, you're drilling away in New South Wales for the past few months. Well, that depends on where you're drilling. If you're in actual Sydney itself, hopefully those holes that you're drilling are for the bombs that's going to be put down here and to flatten it, because it needs to be bulldozed and start all over again. Because the Sydney is, yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, well, you understand where I'm coming from off the rails. I'm not bashing Will James. He's got brilliant stuff on Victorian trains. He's got the R class. He's got the old Harris sets and the old Tates and everything else. The Harris and the Tates are the suburban passenger trains in Melbourne. The Tates were the first original electric passenger trains in Australia, suburban passenger trains. In actual fact, they are the first electric suburban passenger trains in Australia. Victoria or Melbourne, they were the first to have electric suburban trains in Australia itself. Have a look at his channel, guys. He's pretty good with his news content. There is another chap. He's actually up the top of the mountain here. I can't think of his name. And he's got a nice big layout. I think it's in his shed or in his garage. It's based on New South Wales, which is my state. And he runs a lot of stuff within my era and steam era. You're roughly about the transition period. Sometimes he'll throw in a bit of the modern stuff like the XPT, which is a very fast train. So anyway, guys, I'd like to thank everybody. I'm gonna cut it here. It's been a long one, another 3.5 hours with the stream. I've got to get some work done as well. And now, thank you everybody for coming on board. Hope to see you guys again next weekend. If they don't mess up my internet cable, which I tried to do today, early in the stream. Support each other, back each other up. If you got time, go and see everybody's content that they got up, even if it's just one, just keep their algorithm up. And with that, keeping the algorithm up every time they come up a new video, we all get to see it. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. I know I get to talk too much. Okay, yeah. Well, next I'm again up here. Great Divide. I'm up here again next week for 10 o'clock. No, Gary, I have not yet. Okay. No, I haven't. Australian Model Railroading. Well, that's me. Sorry. No, I haven't. People, have a look at Creepy's passenger stock. That should be interesting. That was his last video. I haven't seen a lot of people's videos this week, so please bear with me. I will catch up to it over the next couple of days. This week is still going to be very hectic for me, so I will, if I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not on the other people's channels. But I will catch up on all your videos, okay? I promise you that. Take care, everybody. Until next week.
Good night, everybody.
Just hang there for a minute, Daryl. All right, guys. Good night to you all.